What's up, y'all? Kofi Kingston here, and I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks, depending on what that drink is, preferably non-alcoholic, you know?
How's it going? I'm Celtic Warrior Jameson.
Soda.
I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Maple syrup.
Fella.
I would never have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Welcome back to episode 1. That's right. You're here for our premiere episode 1, as always, right here at WrestlingOnTheRocks.com, Wrestling on the Rocks podcast, WOTR, the show, Wrestling on the Rocks on Instagram, all those things. That's us. You've made it to see us do this again for the first time. I am at Ref Marsh. Amanda, tell people what's up.
Hey guys, this is Ms. Amanda Jane. How you guys doing? A lot of interesting wrestling this week.
There was an awful lot of stuff that we seemed forced to watch.
Yeah.
We did have... We're going to talk about AEW Revolution. We're going to talk about Dynamite. We are going to talk about NXT. Justin Time's in the chat coming through. Cheers to you. Amanda, what's in your glass?
Well, because it was a really harsh weekend, of course, it was the non-sponsored Sonic. And today I have, it's cherry slush with Sailor Jerry because, woo, this wrestling week.
Yeah, this was a big one. I'm trying to figure out what I should have. Hey, this one Jameson over here is open, right? The one down here?
Ooh.
That was
What choices do you have?
You just bought a couple new ones. Yeah. Oh, I'm going to do some of that.
Oh, look at that.
I'm going to do this one because the only bit of news we do want to say up at the top, I'm going to have Jameson Cold Brew, one of my favorite Irish whiskeys. A comfort, as it were. Oh, hold on. Because today, unfortunately, Becky Lynch made mention on her social medias that her dad passed away. He had been sick for a while. I believe we were talking about it, and we believe we saw something of it in her, I believe it was her 24 that they did on her. Where she had talked about taking a trip back to Ireland for a couple weeks because he was ill. So I don't know that there's any way to ever be prepared or ever to even if you see it coming, to be ready for it. So I don't know how sick he was for how long, but that's got to be incredibly hard to deal with. So cheers to him. If you go to Becky Lynch's Instagram, Becky Lynch WWE, she has a story on there right now. Maybe we should we'll tweet out a link to it as well. There was a facility that seemed to be taking care of her dad and in his final days, and she posted up the charity that you could go ahead and give to them because they did everything they could for him. So tears in our beers. At Milford Care Center.
Oof.
Yeah, Center, CENTRE. So Milford. So cheers, and we'll see you down the road. And tears in our beers, and cheers to you, Becky Lynch, getting through it. I'm sure. Take your time. Take your time.
I'm obviously wanting alcohol today, sipping this.
Yeah, absolutely. But
I did 5 for her dad.
I mean, the silver lining of it all, when you really think about it, he did get to see her become the biggest star in the entire industry that she had chosen as her path. He did get to know about his granddaughter's birth.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like he got to meet her, but he does know about her, and so he got to see a lot. I mean, I'm sure that there was just not an ounce of pride that he didn't have for her. Yeah. You know what I mean? So there's that. Man, is there an expiration on this? This feels a little soy saucy tonight.
Is it spoiled?
I don't think it's spoiled. Maybe it's just warm. It's coming off a bit soy saucy. I'm not gonna.
Oh yeah, hold on. Let me look at something. It's what is it again? Jameson Cold Brew.
Yeah. Does it say to refrigerate or anything? It's just been sitting here. It may just. I needed maybe just to move it some. Let me see.
Yeah, there's an expiration date.
What do you mean? How do you see? Where do you see that?
It should be refrigerated.
Should be refrigerated. Good. This has been sitting on the floor.
It says if you keep it in your fridge,
Yeah.
it should last 2 weeks after the expiration date.
Okay, well, where's the expiration date? What am I looking at? Is that the 1537?
Oh, let's see. Let me see if I can find it.
Okay, something's off on this one.
Yeah, I think maybe you need another drink.
Oh my god, I'm gonna make myself
Let me
sick
see
here.
something. Expiration date, location. You know,
Oh my god.
when you need the internet to help you, I'm just gonna say
Yeah,
this.
I'm
You
glad
think
that you're
the
there.
internet and Google has like everything? No, I just Googled like the Jameson cold brew expiration date location, and it's not telling me anything. I'm like, hello, this could be life or death.
This could be. I could be.
You know?
poisoned.
I'm just saying, you know. So if Marsh dies, I guess producer lady can sue the people who make Jameson.
Yeah, maybe she'll finally get the show sponsored. If I pass for this, get Jameson to sponsor the show in my wake.
Yeah, you're the ones who killed him on the show.
Yeah, at
with
least
that
you can
stupid
do.
coffee. Yeah.
Send us the goddamn bottle.
If any of you people drink Jameson cold brew and you know where the expiration date is, could you please tell Marsh?
Yeah,
or
there's a
tweet
lot
him?
of letters on here. I'm trying to find out. I'm not gonna dump it out yet. I'm gonna start having this.
You
this
just
winter
poured
jack.
more.
No, I
Ew,
poured something else. I poured a different
okay.
thing.
Okay.
I'm gonna let the cold brew get real cold, and we're gonna see how it is here again in a few minutes.
That's not how that works. I don't think.
Yeah, that's
but
how it works.
Okay.
Definitely
all
how
right.
it works.
All right. I'm gonna look on Reddit.
Sometimes
now,
when
too.
food spoils, you just gotta make it colder, and then it's fine.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
Amanda, we are glad to have you back. I'm pretty sure that, and Clump would probably agree with me. I believe if anybody has eaten the most amount of spoiled foods around here, it would be Clump. However, he is missing from the show tonight. So, in his
I'm
absence,
trying to do my best.
Yup, that's right. Yeah. And I like how I'm drinking it, and immediately Amanda's like, I got to find out the expiration date. Meanwhile, producer's over here being like, let me see what's going on Twitter. This fucker can choke.
Die.
Yeah.
No one's talking about this. So either there's not an expiration date, but I think there is because it makes mention on the internet, but it doesn't say where they put it.
There's a code on the back, and I bet you there's a way to break it down. I don't know what that would be, though. But either way, Amanda, we did have a lot to watch this weekend. We had AEW Revolution.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be honest with you. This pay-per-view, before we even get to the end, was hard to watch. It was pretty awful. I'm gonna be like, it was a huge disappointment. The first 2 hours easily is absolutely skippable. I mean, 3 hours if you include the kickoff show, which was mediocre at best.
Well, it's only half an hour, right?
Well,
2.5
but
hours.
I'll say 2.5 hours in, and it'll probably kick off. Because to be quite honest, it wasn't until the ladder match that I thought anything was at least interesting. So this was a tough one for me to get through. It was tough for me to see a vision here. It was tough for me to see a direction the company is going that makes me excited for it. Definitely did not make me feel like I've missed anything by not watching their weekly, and definitely does not bring me back in. Amanda, what were some of your highlights of this pay-per-view?
Well,
$50.
weren't quite a lot. Yeah, to be real honest with you, and to also be very honest, I'm glad I didn't pay $50 to watch that, because I would be asking for my money back, because it just was not. It was not good, and I honestly don't think that AEW has good pay-per-views. If I want to be really fair, I think maybe the first one that they did, what was it, Double or Nothing was the first one way back when.
Yeah, and they haven't topped it since.
No, but to be really fair, if you count All In was the best. You cannot duplicate that. And I think that's what people wanted AEW to do is duplicate All In. You can't.
Yeah.
That was something that was very magical. If you were there, you know, because there was a certain energy in that room, and you would know. But yeah, you can't copy that.
Yep. Leah Moonlight's in the chat. Cheers, Leah. Thank you for coming through. And if you guys want to come through our chat and derail the show, you can find us. If you go to WrestlingOnTheRocks.com, you can find all of our links. We do stream live now to our Twitter at WOTR The Show. We can see your chat there. We can see your chat on Facebook a little bit. But primarily, we're doing our chat through twitch.tv/WrestlingOnTheRocks if you guys want to be part of the show. Go ahead, Amanda.
Yeah, so that's my statement of going into the show. But there were a couple of highlights, not that many. One that I particularly am a huge fan of is one of the two people who signed. This one's from the ladder match. It was Ethan Page. I was really excited that they signed him, just because he's been kind of that standard on the indies. Also, he's Canadian, so I don't know if that, they have a Canadian quota or something. Because
they're scooping up
there's lots of Canadians. Yeah, they like the Canadians for some reason. So I don't know, maybe is it like some kind of tax break you get, Tony Khan, because you can't run business like that. I'm just saying. But seeing him was great. The bummer with Ethan Page, because he had just come off of Impact and had a great tag team with Josh Alexander. They were the North, and they were phenomenal. And I kind of am like, oh man, they should have signed the both of them, but it is what it is. But he's going to be a really good addition. Where he'll fit in, obviously, he's not going to fit into the main. He's not your main eventer. You're definitely your solid mid-carder. And I think that what they have as far as mid-card, he'll fit in very, very well because his style is so well-rounded. So that was good pickup in that sense.
I will say that I've heard more just from the indie rumblings that you always hear. I have heard more of the North than I've heard of Ethan Page specifically. Obviously, he's in the North, so it's a little bit like, hey, get your head out of your ass. If you're hearing about the North, you're hearing about Ethan Page. And I get that concept, but I'm just saying I've heard more people say the North is great. The North is doing this. The North versus, as opposed to Ethan Page. You know what I mean? So I feel like his tag run is, to me, seemingly a lot more impactful than his singles run was prior to that, which was pretty cool to think about.
It was too. I was going to say his singles run, he really didn't have a televised singles run, which is really interesting. I mean, maybe he had a one-off here and there, but I think that was really rare. He was definitely tag team. But if you want, when you're looking at, if you want to see what the North is all about, they do wrestle MSK at a certain point in time. So if you go look on, I don't know where, but on the archives of wherever they have,
it's got to be somewhere.
Impact.
Somewhere in Impact.
It'll be somewhere. You'll see that.
That sounds good. That sounds dope. I was happy for Ethan Page. Justin Times in the chat, he says the whole pay-per-view is majorly overhyped, and I think it's one of them too. When it came time to, they said we're going to have a surprise Hall of Fame talent, we're going to have a surprise entry to the ladder match, they were going to have a surprise entry into the tag team battle royal, which kind of came and went, and there may not have been a surprise. I think it was just they had some teams that were unannounced, but they made it sound like there was going to be a ton of these huge, huge moments, and I think that there's a certain point where Tony Khan is unable to separate his fandom from his promoter mind, because I do agree that from the sense of what he's getting as a promoter to his promotion, it is incredibly exciting. But I don't think that he understands that the way he words things for a company of that size will have a direct impact on how his fan base is going to, or even the casual fan base is going to respond to that, right? So Ethan Page is huge for him, and it's big for Ethan Page fans. But if you're not familiar with Ethan Page, it was just another person on the show. And after you had that 60 fucking people in the Battle Royal of people that we don't see on TV regularly, and a bunch of matches that had people we don't regularly see TV, it was just kind of another person where you go, oh, is he from Dark? Like, it didn't have that pizzazz you'd want for a thing. To make matters worse, he didn't even win the match, and he was barely showcased in the match. So it was really kind of a flop debut in my book. You know what I mean? He was barely in the match.
Well, the other thing, and dare I say this, if someone disagrees with me on this, then please, I would love to know why. I personally think the Dynamite before, and actually the Shaq and Cody match with Jade Cargill and Red Velvet, I thought that was probably a hell of a lot better than a lot of those matches that were on Revolution.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I know they couldn't have that because the NBA All-Star Game and Shaq has commitments, obviously. Yeah. But I was told, my mom was like, oh yeah, I saw Shaq wrestle. I'm like, how'd you see Shaq wrestle? And she goes, oh, they showed it at halftime at the NBA All-Star Game. And I was like, oh, I'm like, duh, TNT, duh. So that's yeah. Good. I like but that. I thought that was kind of cool. And she said a lot of people really kind of liked it. She goes, it was funny because my cousin was watching it and he said, because he kind of likes wrestling a little bit. His son definitely does. Like his favorite is Brock Lesnar. Please don't at me. Okay. He doesn't know. I tried to show him independent wrestling. And the only thing I think he liked was, and I am like, oh God, that is something not really to like, was I was watching something and it was deathmatch and I tried to turn it off. And he was like, no. So he started liking Nick Gage. And I'm like, oh, that's not good for a 4-year-old.
Pull back.
Yep, got pulled back. But really pull it back. But yeah, no. I mean, I thought that was good exposure for them.
Yeah.
And it's cool. Like, yeah, but if you're going into something and you see, oh my God, I saw Shaq wrestle, this was awesome. Which, by the way, I think he should be on the roster because I thought he was pretty damn good considering the fact that, when you think of celebrities in the ring, it's a joke.
Yeah, a lot of times. Yeah, but he was fun. He was solid.
Yeah, he was solid. I mean, I don't want to say like, because there's a difference between like, when you think of David Arquette and in a way, Stephen Amell. I mean, but yeah, I mean, of those ones who wrestle, I mean, obviously Arquette's probably the best of them, but yeah, no, Shaq was really good and very entertaining. So, I would have rather seen, those kinds of things because at the end of the day, you're asking people to pay $50 for something that was not that great. Yeah. And I've not heard anybody say that it was a good pay-per-view. And if they did, there's maybe actually only 2 or 3 people, but they're like, those AEW, like,
hardcore
super fans.
And yeah, there's a couple people I know who were trying to talk about how amazing this pay-per-view was match by match. And as we're going through it, I just stopped talking in the group chat altogether because I was like, they're clearly not paying attention. They're also basing this off of the idea of watching literally no other wrestling at all. You know what I mean? And I get that too. I think there's a good chunk of their fan base that will watch AEW and refuse to watch other things out of like spite and anger and out of support for AEW. And then it's like, well, if that's the only wrestling you're watching, then you become a lot more forgiving of it when you're not paying attention to the fact that there's other things that happen on a different level. Yeah. But I agree. I think even the majority of AEW fans that I know who are not strictly that way also agreed it was a pretty bad pay-per-view overall. I mean, the first 2 hours was easily throwaway. Let me see. We get to the ladder match. Like you said, Ethan Page is coming out, and that's very cool for him. Exciting for Ethan Page. No problem there. They put up a goddamn brass ring above the ring.
Oh my God.
As a goddamn poke to WWE, and it spoils the whole fucking match because it makes the whole thing fucking goofy. And then when Scorpio Sky wins it, he's barely able to hold on to this thing. It's so big and obnoxious. And what could have been a cool moment of Scorpio Sky getting this singles push that we've all been waiting for just looks goofy because he's holding a goddamn giant bootio.
I thought
there's a bunch of memes. Yeah, there's a ton of memes of Sonic the Hedgehog. And you're all like, get the fuck out. Like, you ruined it out of you're so fucking petty. And you're trying so hard to make a joke at someone else that you've actually spoiled the moment of one of your stars here. It could have been. There's pictures people still share of people holding up money in the bank or holding up a title. No one's gonna fucking share this picture of him hugging a giant hemorrhoid pillow. Grim Reaper's in the chat. During in the chat saying future Hall of Famer Pat McAfee is a celebrity and he's making it. He's amazing in the ring and he's an exception to the rule. And I agree. There's a certain level of Pat McAfee being so good that I don't even think we think of him as a celebrity at this point. People think of him as a wrestler. So, which is great, but it does change the conversation.
I'm advocating Pat McAfee versus Shaq.
Pat McAfee would make Shaq look so fucking good.
Yeah.
But the match itself, the ladder match itself, I thought was okay, and I thought it was ruined by this dumb joke, but I was happy for Ethan Page, but that was kind of the extent of it. I was really disappointed there wasn't more showcasing for Ethan Page. Was there anything else you want to say about that match?
Well, the only other thing I think is they had some really weird, I'll use the word weird choices to be in that match.
It made no sense.
Because that's not their thing. Whereas Janela, I know he, was wrestling somewhere before, but I mean, he would have gone in. Yeah, you're working with people who don't normally, that's not in their repertoire. So that's where I thought was a little weird.
Well, on top of that, and you're also working with people where the story doesn't guide them here. And also, they were all fighting for a title shot, which, by the way, this is happening on every one of their pay-per-views now. There's a number one contender ladder match and a number one contender battle royal. This has happened on every single one of their pay-per-views now.
Why does Tony have a hard-on for this?
I don't know, because the ranking system doesn't work, and they don't know how to get there by stories. That's the problem, because Tony Khan, here's what I think. Tony Khan doesn't book a wrestling show. He books a video game. He has what he thinks of as dream matches. He even said in that interview that I quoted a couple weeks ago on episode 1 that he said some of these matches, like Lance Archer versus Rey Fenix, are just going to be matches that he wants to see because he thinks they'll be good matches, and that's it. I think he does that a lot, and this is one of them where he just thinks of 6 people who, in his mind, if he's putting together a video game sheet, he's going, oh yeah, put Andre the Giant in there with Stone Cold Steve Austin. That'll be great. And you go, why would Stone Cold and Andre have an issue? And it doesn't matter. It's just we're going to do a ladder match. It's a gimmick thing. It's a video game. It doesn't matter. That's how he books the show. So you get these 6 people in this match who have no reason to be there. The number one contender spot they need to have because he wants to see Scorpio Sky versus Darby Allin, and he thinks that this match gets him there. But this is a questionable match that makes no sense to get to a point that didn't need to be there to have another match that otherwise would have made just as little sense as this, so you could have just done that match. You know what I mean? They've made no sense as to who's getting their number one contender spot for TNT as we go. So why do we need to have several random matches that make no sense to get to the one match that makes no sense that you want? Just go straight to the match that makes no sense that you want. I would have rather see Darby Allin defend the TNT title here than do it on Dynamite, but I get why they didn't do it in that order. But do I need to see Scorpio, who I said when AEW first launched, if you go back and find when it first comes on, I said in there that Scorpio Sky was the biggest star they have and they don't even see it yet. And I said, I don't see why they're not backing this guy and making him the Rock of AEW, because this dude has it all. He is so good. He is my absolute favorite in AEW from an all-around standpoint. There's other people I may like more from a personality standpoint, this or that, but from all around, you have a superstar and that you guys don't even realize what you have here. It's been Scorpio Sky since day one.
Oh, yeah.
So I was so happy to see him win this, but also knew it didn't matter because he's going to get a TNT title shot, which he could have had anyways, and I knew he wasn't going to drop it to Darby because they're fixated on this weird Darby thing, who, by the way, is now at like 140 days with 3 defenses, so congratulations to Brock Lesnar of TNT.
Yep, there you go.
Real quick, Just in Time is saying because Tony Khan is too busy playing Superfan instead of being a booker. Go ahead, Amanda.
Yep, absolutely. Well, I will say this because, I was getting so pissed off during this match because, okay, Cody gets injured. I'm like, great. They're going to come out. They're going to make this big deal about it. They're going to pull him away. He's going to come out and win this damn thing. I'm like, can we not do this anymore? I was thinking to myself. Then, of course, like clockwork, he came back out. I'm personally shocked that he did not win. And then someone says, well, Cody doesn't win all the time. I go, yeah, but you've got that point preference. That's all I think of when I see crap like that. Oh, you're sliding it towards Cody because got kind of injured and everyone's there. And Arn says, you know what? Nope, stay in the back. Jerry Lynn said, nope, don't come out. You know, I'm like, it's mine. It kills me. And I'm like, we need to stop this. Cody's a superhero. I like Cody. I'm not shitting on him. But, you know, honestly, it's like you have a whole, and this is, I also feel about this way with Omega and the Bucks. You have a whole, and Chris Jericho, Flubber. You have a whole slew of people that are on this roster, but it's centric to those guys.
Yeah.
And it's like nobody cares anymore. You don't need Jericho. You know, you don't even really, honestly, like Omega, you don't really need Omega, because Omega is not, and if people, a lot of people say he is right now, they're like, oh, this is New Japan Kenny. I'm like, no, it is not. It is not. Because is he wrestling that kind of caliber of talent now?
Oh.
No. So
that's a good point.
I don't know. So I think that because I don't consider, even though Mox was or is or whatever, I don't even know. I didn't even watch, so I don't know. But what the U.S. title, whatever the heck.
Oh yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I don't know.
Like
He
I
won
don't.
it.
Yeah,
He still
I don't
has it.
consider Mox a New Japan wrestler.
No.
Okay, that's like trying to have Luchasaurus be in Lucha Underground. Okay.
Well, but part of that
doesn't work.
isn't Mox's fault. If COVID hadn't happened, I do fully believe he would have gone to Japan more than he was able to this year. So
Yeah.
but as it stands, yes, he's been there so few that it doesn't feel like he's a New Japan champion. And they also only brought it out when it was convenient for one story, which is the same thing they did with Omega and the AAA title. Justin says in the chat, stupid thing as well was you could see Cody just standing in the tunnel like a moron. And yeah,
you
for
could.
like so long, he's just standing there the whole time. He's like, fucking stop, man.
I'm like, what are you doing, stalker?
Yeah, and Grim Reaper says, you needed Jericho and Omega to bring your eyes to year one of AEW. The new Four Horsemen will be MJF's catapult to the AEW title. Don't fucking buy that for a second.
I personally did not need Chris Jericho or Kenny Omega to make me watch AEW. Okay,
Yeah.
I guess I'm a weirdo that when it first came around, yeah, I was interested because they were trying to do something different. They were taking that independent spirit and doing something on bigger level.
Yeah.
Did that happen? I don't know. It still remains to be seen.
Yeah,
But
I
if
guess.
you're asking if anybody was who's on the roster has made me watch every week, I'm gonna say it's not. People are. Oh, I'm biased about it. Is Ricky Starks, because yes, I have a lot of friends who wrestle on that roster. I know a lot of people, but Ricky is a friend, and this was like just, oh my God. And it's like this, like to him and to other people who've seen him before, it's like this was the thing that he needed, because no one cared. Because I remember back in the he won the NWA title. Okay, cool, but no one really cared. He got something out of it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day,
but to stay on topic here, Grim Reaper does say in the chat, Jericho and Inner Circle will help MJF propel his career. Jericho and Omega will be used to build new stars for year two. Out of curiosity, Grim, who has been better off after facing Jericho or Omega since being in their year one? Who has Jericho made into a star? Because to be honest, he took MJF and actually reduced his character into being borderline unwatchable and shitty comedy.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know that Jericho and Omega have it to give it to someone else. You can't pass a torch that you don't quite have. But let's see. Here's the thing that happened after the ladder match. We did get Christian Cage signing with AEW. He comes out, silently signs a contract, quietly shows his new T-shirt, and calmly walks out in a semi-underwhelming moment. In that the moment was just that, not that the moment of Cage signing was bad. I think it's fantastic for AEW. We talked about it some on Tuesday. I think Tony Khan should be fucking ecstatic to get Christian on. I think the way that he bills that to other people is what made that underwhelming to some people who were expecting larger names. Because I think that what Christian brings is much more than what fans see. And I think that you're talking to your fans like they are a part of your booking, and they're flat out not. And the ones who think they are the worst ones.
No, that's true. That's
So
true.
we can only base it off what we see, right? What are we seeing? What are you giving me? And not what is he telling the guys in the back? And, you see what they tell people in the back later on down the line. It makes you respect the guy. I met Cage Christian at a meet and greet a couple years back, and he was awesome. And I wasn't even a huge Christian fan to begin with, but after meeting him, I was like, this guy's really cool. He's a really dope guy.
Yeah, he's a cool dude. Cool
When
dude.
we see him on backstage, he's super smart, super knowledgeable about everything, and he's very impressive in so many ways. So I think that it's cool and big time that he's there, but I also think there is no such thing as a dream match for Christian in AEW. I even saw people showing the WrestleMania 20 match little graphic they put up of Jericho versus Christian and said, who wants to see this rematch in AEW? And I was like, oh my God.
No.
Like, no. 20, how many years ago was that? 20, we're on 37. So, what, 17 years ago? Yes. It was a different type of match than we'll get this year. I'm okay with not getting the 17 years in the making business. But I think it's awesome for him. I'm glad he's working. I'm glad because I know it's what he wants from what we can tell. Not because he told me we're not insiders. But what do you think about this? Christian signing and a lot of people saying, I thought it was going to be Brock.
Please. Tony's got money, but he's not going to waste it on Brock Lesnar. Come on now. He's going to throw it on something like up yours, because, the Rumble, there was Christian and everyone was thinking, oh, Christian's going to come back, And I guess when they didn't bring him back, or if this was in talks before, I don't know. But I think it's a really great pickup just because they have a lot of really young guys on the roster who are in the tag division. I mean, yes, you have a lot of really experienced people like the Bucks, Grayson and Evil Uno. You've got a lot of really good guys in there, but then you've got, you've got these newbies, and then when you have someone with Christian, he's so well rounded in the fact that you need advice from him in your tag team, or if you're doing like if you're doing solo things, whatever. I think it was a great pickup. Am I disappointed? No. Disappointing I think would be, when I look back at it, I think it would be if you had someone that you were saying, oh, it's Hall of Fame caliber, la la la, and it wasn't.
Yeah,
so
it was like Val Venus. You go, well.
Yeah. But I also was glad that the other one that I thought was going to be maybe that person, thank God it was not, was Bully Ray. Thank God. He needs to be away from
I could see that too.
AEW.
And here's the thing too, is I don't think the actual disappointment was the fact that Christian signed. I really don't. I feel like the disappointment was the sigh of disappointment was realizing we're not going to get a furthering of Edge and Christian's story, because when we saw them in Royal Rumble together, there was that moment of excitement, and that's when you get the real dream matches of think of the stories that could be told on this level. And when you see him appear in AEW, you just go, fuck. I really wanted to see him do some stuff with Edge and stuff. Like, that would have been so great and meaningful. And then after you go, fuck, you go, okay, hold on, reset. This is very good for Christian. It's just a bummer for my dream booking. But, and it also sounds like these talks were real quick. He said it was less than a week that he started talking to Tony and signed. So this could have been a shotgun decision, too, in a maybe not even a negative sense, in a positive sense.
Yeah. No, and I think that the other thing I think is really positive too, if everyone's like, oh, Ed, him and Edge, you got to also think too, remember they have this supposed partnership with, New Japan, and what could come out of that could be phenomenal. They've got some of the best juniors in the world over there, and to see him go with some of these guys, hell, I would love to see like him and Tanahashi, or I'd love to see those kinds of things, because that's something that, well, my knowledge of Christian, I don't think he's really done, or I could be wrong, but so I think it's a good thing. I don't think there's really anybody that you can say with AEW, oh, this is a dream match. because honestly, I don't think there is.
There's not enough story for there to be a dream match. There is
No.
enough just wrestling talent for you to have high caliber matches, but there's not enough
they're not
story
doing
for it
that.
to be a dream, for you to like fantasy book or imagine these two people together, but without a story it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right? Let's see real quick. Let's hit the chat. Justin Time is in the chat saying Christian feels like their way of trying to compensate for not getting Edge. Peptina agrees. And then Justin says, just like what happened on Dynamite with Omega and Christian, it feels like they're just putting Christian in the world title picture because of Edge being in the world title picture in WWE. The whole thing feels so WWE. Grim Reaper says he can see that. Kuro's in the chat looking suspect. What about Christian versus Big Show? Dork Chop coming through with the fantasy booking Christian versus Big Show. I mean, it's going to be great. They should just be a tag team, though.
Yeah.
They should be a tag team. They should go up against. They should put over the Jurassic Express. But
No,
I
they
don't think Christian's getting the world title picture because of Edge. I truly feel that just like every single other new signing they've gotten, they've been immediately put into like a world title picture. There's very few people who came in not in the world title picture. So I think that we're going to get a Big Show match with Omega soon enough. No, I don't know about that.
No, I don't want
But
that. Oh, Lord,
yeah, not
no.
Miro, because they're shitting on Miro.
They do
But was
shit
it
on
Brody got his right away? Eddie Kingston got his right away. Didn't Shawn Spears, or was that just a match that he lost to Cody?
That was a match he just lost.
Yeah. I feel like that a lot of people, as they come in as their new like big steal, they go get their world title shot and then they put them right back somewhere in the middle, you know. As Kuro says, Miro's angry about that. I don't know. He doesn't look angry.
He's getting
I wish he
paid.
was angry about that.
You know, I mean, yeah, it's kind of stupid, you know, what you're caught in. But then again, you know, I think someone needs to call Cabana needs to have a talk with Tony Khan if you want to talk about comedic wrestling and stories in that sense, because that is just an awfully generic, I stole it from WWE thing. So I think that he needs to have a creative someone, at least, because he gives his people the creativity, and they can, you know, almost do what they want. They need someone to rope that in and say, no, that does not work. That doesn't make sense. No, go back and try again, because
no one's ever said that in AEW.
And it, you know, like, you need that, and it's not going to come from Tony. You got to get it from someone. I don't know. Have a fan council. I'll sign up for that, because I'll be hell no.
Oh my God.
I can book matches, because I've had some that I can broker a match. I've had some that I didn't book, but all of a sudden someone listened to me and they booked, and I'm like, see how great that was.
Yeah.
I digress.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
I don't think that it's necessarily directly related to that, but I do think that it's kind of funny when you see people say like, oh my God, look how amazing. And they show Roman toe to toe with Edge. Then they show Kenny face to face with Christian. And then in my mind, I was all like, you see Roman and Edge and it goes, oh, I want a WrestleMania main event. And then your mom goes, we have WrestleMania main event at home. And then you see Omega and Christian and you go, or the Wish.com main event. I'm just goofing. It's probably going to be amazing or whatever, but Omega's going to win. And that's the other thing too. I don't know that having him come in to lose to Omega right away means much. And I don't know that throwing the title on him means much right now either. That's what I mean. Like, there's something about it that's just not quite clicking for me at this point. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see where it goes, because if Christian's suddenly your champion, I don't know where that puts you. I don't know where that makes this a suddenly super interesting thing where you go with it. Just because he's so new to that company, he's so new to that talent. I mean, I guess they'll find some sort of weird story to throw with it. Let's see. Dorkchop says, to be honest, it's Christian Cage who is coming in. And when he was that character in TNA, he was always in the title picture. Just because he wasn't a top guy in WWE, he was a world title holder in WWE. Doesn't mean he should come in AEW as a mid-card guy.
No.
Going for the title right away makes sense, but I'm also a shill, so don't listen to me. That's funny. He was a world title holder in WWE. I don't think that anyone's saying he's not a top guy.
Yeah.
I think that there's a weird idea of the story is what I'm saying. I don't understand where it gets you. And I think that if he comes in and immediately loses to Omega, that's a little bit of a bummer of a start. I mean, it definitely didn't set up a whole lot of other people well, personally. So, but I don't know. we'll see what they do. I don't think they'll have a bad match. I'm really curious to see any kind of Christian matches he puts on. He's so good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I just don't know what outcome comes out on the other side of it that makes me think, okay, this is a really cool direction. I think no matter the outcome of an Omega versus Cage, I go, oh, okay. Like, Kiro says, okay, my issue with Christian is the really Hall of Fame worthy talent. Is he really Hall of Fame worthy talent for AEW? Yeah, I'm gonna say 100%. I'm hoping that he has a bigger impact in the back than we will know about for a while.
Yeah.
But then again, everyone back there talks so damn much about everything that happens week to week. We'll probably know right away as soon as you give somebody advice.
No, there's some people
see.
who keep it to the chest. There's a few, very few.
Yeah.
Very few.
Well, let's talk about this because I do think it's a really good thing for Christian. I do think that's good. But let's talk about this: Sting and Darby versus Brian Cage and Ricky Starks in a cinematic street fight.
I will say there was only one thing wrong with it. That was
The music,
the commentary.
shitty filters?
They should have had the commentary.
the commentary,
The commentary that should have been not on there at all.
the awkward iMovie effects,
No.
no snow.
You could have snow. I mean, whatever. I was shocked there was none. I was like, oh, they didn't put it in the budget then. Okay, so Darby, you had made 90% of it. You 10%, you forgot the snow. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
But no. I mean, going into it, I didn't think it would be like that kind of like, I'm gonna say like almost like a weird long. Remember when MTV showed music videos and you get those long, like every once in a while band will come out from long extra thing like Thriller, or whatever. That's the only one I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah, it did.
This is what that was, and that's what I was expecting it to be. So you're gonna get these weird, like camera shots and angles. That's that style you were gonna get, because I don't know, I don't want to say the youth, but like the Hot Topic crowd. Let's use that because I think that's like Darby's demographic. Hell, I used to think that about like AEW. It really is because they're a t-shirt company. But I think that kind of camera stuff and whatever, that's what those people kind of like. I did think there were certain ones. It was irritating that you probably filmed it with like every video camera you can find. That was a little weird.
There's a lot of different qualities.
Yeah, and that's where it kind of sucked, where it had different quality. But overall, I thought it was great. And I had to laugh when people said, "Oh my God, how does Brian Cage fit in that green car?" And like, do you know what he drives normally? He has a Corvette. Okay,
that's funny.
And that thing is smaller than that green car. And I've seen him get in and out of it fine. So he was fine with that. I thought that was funny, but
he's got a lot of motion for a muscular man.
Yeah, and I think, but that match, it went the way it was supposed to go. I don't agree with it, but it went the way it was supposed to go.
Maybe.
But now,
let's see. Go ahead.
What's next? Because you fast forward. I'm gonna mention it now. Fast forward to yesterday. And Sting was just like, oh, coming and talking. And I'm like, dude, you know what? No, I would have preferred you not said anything. And you just came out with your snow and it was kind of mysterious. And you're like, just kind of nod. Like, you did it. Who's next, bitches? I didn't need him to talk with Shivani. Because it kind of hit high pitched and it kind of just threw me out of that mode of, all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sting's never been known for his promos. Let's see. Yeah. Dorkchop does say in this chat in regards to Christian, he says, just give us the Cage and Page versus Cage and Page with special guest referee Diamond Dallas Page in a steel cage.
Oh my God.
True. Yeah,
that's right. There's two cages and 2 pages.
And and you have Diamond Dallas Page.
Yeah.
So and then you can put him in a steel cage.
Mm-hmm.
If you get Cage and Cage in a cage,
mm-hmm.
I mean, you don't need the pages.
Because of Tony's like weird fanboy booking, I bet you we're gonna get that.
We will, and it won't matter how we get there. Apparently, so Kevlar is in the chat. He does say, "Cheers, everyone! Is the set going to explode tonight?" I'm gonna be honest with you. I thought about going by a place to get a sparkler and just put one out on the table, but I thought that I would get in a lot of trouble if I did that, so we did not.
Honestly, unless producer lady is gonna jump on your back and cover you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I would have died. I would have died of a panic attack.
I know she would sell it. She would sell it.
Yeah.
She would sell the shit out of it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Dorkchip says I was so hyped for the Sting debut, but him giving a promo every week has made me tired of it already. And then Justin said, never thought I'd be as tired of seeing Sting as much as I am now, but my God, enough of the same shit every week. And Dorkchip says Cage Cubed. That's a sell. Cage Cubed is a sell. No. Yeah, I mean, as much as there was some really cool shots and cool little bits in the cinematic match, I do feel like the people are being relatively forgiving of what looked largely like a high school production and was largely built to make Sting look like a star, and it didn't do a whole lot of favors for Brian or Ricky. But also going into it, there was not a lot of favors for Brian or Ricky to begin with. They were getting their asses handed to them every week. So there also didn't feel like this great feeling of comeuppance, this great, like, oh, Sting did it. He finally got back on the villains. It's like, no, he's kicking their ass every week. Every time they try anything, he would best them. So it really just felt like these dweebs who just can't win a fight, who keeps picking a fight with a dude they can't beat. So I didn't get that feeling. I didn't get that sense of like, oh my God, this is great. You just go, oh, Sting's beating up those dweebs again. And then Darby Allin does his big dive off the top, disappears forever, and Sting gets a pin over Ricky Starks. I don't know that. I don't know. It didn't make me think like, oh, Sting's a real badass now. I just thought like, this is a weird way to give Sting a win over Ricky.
Yeah, he's laid Ricky out like twice already before. It's
yeah,
like,
why couldn't Darby have gotten the win? I think Darby should have gotten the pin here, because if
That was
Darby
more
got the
powerful.
pin,
Yeah.
it would be, because it would be Darby getting one over and Sting just being there to help out his buddy. But this is one where Darby needed Sting, and Sting didn't need anybody, and no one could beat Sting. This made Sting look incredible, but I don't think anyone else came out of there looking stronger to be.
Well,
just
I think
just
that
for
wasn't
me.
the point. That wasn't the point of it. I will say that Sting looks stronger because look at all the shit he did. He did quite a bit of shit with Ricky, and Ricky made it that. And I'm sorry, I'm gonna say that. He made him look that damn good. Because you're working with a guy that like, okay, how many bumps is he gonna take? He already took one. Is he have another one in him? What's going on? And the weird camera angles. I think the reason why they had the bad quality mix is because you really had to kind of probably try to hide the guy that was probably Sting's double.
Yeah, I felt like there was at least two different doubles for Sting. Like, I didn't feel like Sting was part of that match as much as it looked like.
Yeah. But when Sting was actually in the match with Ricky, he made him look like $1 million. And I think that at the end of the day, I mean, that's what that's about, because Darby sure doesn't make anybody look good. They just make him look, oh God, you're kind of crazy, dude. You're dropping off of like the second story out of like a window onto Cage, which is on some like, I don't know, a platform that you guys like broke through. I'm like, you're like, holy God, is this guy dead? Like, seriously, like, how does this guy do it? Like, I don't know. Does he have bones? No, he has them tattooed, but it's like, is he made of rubber under there? I mean, what? So I think that with him,
exoskeleton. Grimmy Produce says Sting did get power bombed the one time, and Justin says Darby was too busy selling that fall into the foam pit.
Yeah.
Kevlar says Sting beating up nerds. Let's see. Kuro says, how do we go from Sting taking an actual bump one week to him doing next to nothing there next? Yeah, this match really felt like Sting was doing a lot of nothing.
Yeah.
But it was shot pretty cool. I didn't like the commentary over it. It was really awkward. I thought, Taz was freaking out in a weird way. Kind of made Taz look dumb, like he was screaming at a TV. It felt like he was screaming at a TV. I don't even know where Darby got those CRT TVs anyways, like the ones with the VCRs built into them for him to shoot this.
Tony probably could get anything you want.
Tony probably just still has his own in the house. It probably was his personal one so he can watch all of his tapes still.
Yeah, probably.
But I mean, I felt like there's bits of it that I just felt like was a little bit much for me, but it was fine. You know what I mean? Like, I would have done less of the music being overly brooding. I would have done less of the filters all over the place. I'd probably done at least one consistent quality camera. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It was really choppy, really filtery. It looked like someone's iMovie music video, like you said. It was a bit much in that regard. But Sting looks great, and then everyone else was in the match. I don't know. Is there anything else you want to talk about that one?
Nope.
The world title, we'll talk about that and move on. The world title match was the Exploding Barbed Wire Death Match with Kenny Omega versus Jon Moxley. This one was actually pretty dope for a while. I was really getting lost in it. I was really finding myself, like, feeling that nervousness about them, like, landing on things or hitting the ropes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But then the explosions started happening. Even the explosions on the ropes looked okay.
Yeah.
They were fine to say, okay, I guess a boom happened there. But they didn't. They looked far away from the ring. They looked separated for camera shots. Like, it didn't look impressive. But it was fine. It was like, okay, they're going to be hitting him a couple times. You're going to have constant pops. Like, it doesn't need to be this giant explosion every time they hit the ropes. I get that. So it's fine. But I was a little bit like, oh, okay, boom. Then they do that spot on the outside where Mox DDTs Kenny Omega into the barbed wire, and like two little whoopee cushion explosions happen in the far back corner that's not even next to them. And I was like, what the fuck was that? That was supposed to be a death pad. And then I also thought, as soon as I saw that spot, I was like, God damn, Moxley took all of that. Kenny Omega didn't even touch that barbed wire and was immediately launched away from it. It looked bad. Like, that looked like it hurt Moxley way bad. And then it would look like Kenny was like, whew, thank God he did the move to me because I'm fine. It's like, fuck, why did you do a move like that to yourself? I mean, then Moxley was wrapping the barbed wire around himself. I don't like stuff like that because it just looks like it starts to undermine the idea of the barbed wire being dangerous on the ring ropes. If it's so dangerous you don't want to hit it, then why are you wrapping yourself in it on your own to hit someone else, but you're gonna be doing more damage to yourself? Like, it was a few moments of that I was kind of like, what the hell? But there was enough tension, enough stuff going on that I was really getting into it. And then the Good Brothers came out and kind of started fucking with the match. They left the ring right away. Kenny and Moxley, I wish they just stayed in the ring for longer. I don't know. What'd you think about all this before it got to the big explosion? Just in Time real quick says, match was awesome, but there was some shitty explosion moments. And then, my God, the ending was an absolute joke. Amanda, what do you think?
Well, at first I was like, okay. This is not so bad.
Yeah.
Maybe it was like, I'd say maybe 4 or 5 minutes in, then I'm like, whoa, this is going bad. I'm like, I can't even watch this. I'm like, this is just not, something's not right here. And then, of course, I was kind of looking at it, but kind of not really paying attention until the end of it. But I'm like, of course, we got the Good Brothers coming in. That's to be expected, and whatnot. But yeah, let's talk about
that exploding barbed wire bat was really cool. As soon as he hits Mox and the explosions came out of it, that looked dope. I was like, that was
cool. Yeah, that's probably the best pyro they had.
I think it was. I think it was the best explosion we saw the whole night.
I bet you Mox is the one who put that together.
Oh my gosh.
Har.
Yeah. But there was a lot of good stuff in this match. Like, even when those weird things would happen, it would make me go like, what the fuck is that? Like, what are you doing? Just, they would start getting back into it, and I'd start getting lost in it again and find myself being like, God, this is brutal. This is crazy. Mm-hmm. But, Grim Reaper says that's Mox's MO. He will inflict damage on himself, wrapping the barbed wire around himself to hurt someone else. But there has to be a payoff, right? Like, you can't wrap yourself in barbed wire to kick someone in the shin. You need to wrap yourself in barbed wire and body slam them. You know what I mean? Like, you need to do a splash onto them. Mox has been showing that he's not doing damage to create more than damage to the other person. He's doing more damage to himself than the person he's inflicting damage on. And that just makes Moxley look stupid to me. So I think that's the part that's when stuff was happening. I would be like, what the fuck? Why would he do that? Like, that was clearly more dangerous for him than someone else. But I get why you do it in the idea of a Broadway show, but I also don't get why you do it in what I'm supposed to believe is a street fight. And not that I'm supposed to believe it, but I'm trying to get lost in it. I like to get worked. I talk about it all the time. But then, they have this big countdown where the commentary says specifically We've just found out there's literally no way to stop this explosion from happening at the end of the 30
yeah,
minutes.
that's right. They say that.
Oh, my God.
Oh, God.
And shout out to Bishop on Terrible Wrestling Takes podcast. He talked about it. He said, if this is the story you're going for, then you're expecting me to believe that you as a business owner and promoter let a fucking wrestler set up explosives ringside on his own. Like, that's what you want me to believe. In the best case scenario, you want me to buy into a wrestler set up explosives completely untrained and also set no off switch, no fail safe. Like, it's a bit much and a bit silly. And I think this whole situation, from the sparklers to Eddie Kingston, to the commentary screaming, take cover, there's no failsafe, to blaming Kenny, to Tony coming out right after and saying, well, what do they expect, us to blow up some people? All of this whole situation is the literal step-by-step guide on how you talk down to your audience and talk to your audience like they're stupid. And the thing that's so weird to me is the amount of absolute AEW stans who just are eating it up. Like, yeah, oh yeah, keep shitting on me. Just keep making me look stupid. And it's like, just force AEW to be as good as they can be, because you give them all these passes and they keep just fucking saying, oh, well, I guess we're just going to keep... I guess we're fine. Nothing to see here. Justin Time says Dynamite didn't help defending the ending. Instead of taking responsibility for fucking up, they just came out with every excuse to save their asses. Kiro said Rod had better pyro for the jump scare of Randy Orton than AEW had for the explosion match. And yeah, so Eddie comes running out. Everyone's running away. The Good Brothers are running away. Don Callis and Kenny just running away. They handcuff Mox so he can't get out. Although he probably could have rolled under the rope.
Yeah.
But he can't get out. He can't get out. And they said, there's no way. Kenny Omega, our explosive expert, has set this up in private behind everyone's back, and Moxley's okay with that. That's the story you want us to have. Eddie runs in and says, no, I'll save him. He's looking like, no, how could this happen? As they count down, he huddles over Moxley to cover his head as some Gilbert flares go, some little sparklers on, and then you get two little pops on the bottom, and then one more row of just it looks smaller than any explosion of the entire night. And I bet you they wish that someone just went out there with a bunch of exploding barbed wire bats and were just beating the shit out of them, because that would have looked better than this. And while this is happening, fucking Excalibur goes, take cover!
That was not necessary.
As he's screaming, take cover, fucking this menial explosion happens, and you just hear Excalibur go, oh my God, because he's all like, that's it? And you can hear it in his voice, and they just kept going like, that's, oh my God, and they just kept selling it like something happened when nothing happened. And then Eddie Kingston passes out. Medical comes out to attend to him.
Oh God.
It was absolutely fucking ridiculous. And the fact that they had Eddie Kingston come out and say it was a panic attack, and it made me feel like when I was in prison. I'm like, the fuck out of here.
Yeah, like, whoa, dude. Yeah, no.
It didn't. And I'll tell you this. If you were like that in prison, then I know exactly what kind of inmate you were. But you think the inmates who have panic attacks and pass out from being scared by looking at a fence, you think they do well there? I'll tell you, your toughness meter really drops a notch. But they're trying to cater to the idea of like, oh, if you talk shit on it, you're talking shit about a mental illness because it's his panic attack, right? No. It was stupid, and it looked bad, and this was awful. And then Tony comes out and says, oh, I guess Moxley's not good. And then Moxley, or not Moxley, but Omega's not good at making explosives. Imagine that. He made a crayon drawing. They have Moxley come out and say, oh, what the fuck was that? Moxley or Omega must suck. And then you have Eddie say, I have panic attacks and pass out sometimes, because, like, man, it was just so dumb. It was such a horrible way to explain all of that, when all Tony had to do to make even the dumb shit, let's say all the Dynamite stuff was going to happen either way. Well, not either way, but let's say they've decided this is how we're moving forward storyline wise. If on the call afterwards, Tony didn't say, well, what do they expect us to do? Just blow people up? And didn't say, well, yeah, I'm glad that it went the way that it went. If he had just said, yeah, it wasn't what we thought was going to happen, we're going to be probably following up with the third-party vendors we used for that. Obviously, we didn't actually have Kenny Omega set up explosives, but I'll tell you what, for the fans, you guys are going to get quite a kick out of how we build this into the storyline. This is canon now, and we're going to have a lot of fun with it on the way out of it. Then I would have loved everything these guys are saying. But the fact that Tony was sticking to his guns this whole time, like that's what he wants us to believe, I'm not into this meta wink wink shit. Kiro says Raw, I bet. Oh, he says then deflecting after the match felt like a WCW level of deflection. Yeah, I'll be honest. After seeing this pay-per-view, I was really fucking I was already stopped watching AEW, but I'll tell you, this did not do me any favors of making me want to come back. And this felt a lot less like WCW and a lot more like TNA. Because this shit was expensive and WCW was cheap. TNA was $10 a month.
Again, $50. People paid $50 for that.
Yeah.
My takeaways from it, obviously, I think that explosion was hilarious because it's like Jesus, this is a shit show, and this is funny because that's what people want to see. The anti AEWs, they want to see this, and deservedly so. The one thing I don't like about this whole thing was, okay, you have Eddie, and he really oversold it, but it's like, damn, y'all make Eddie Kingston look like a fool. This is not the first time, and it's probably not going to be the last time, because it made him look like such a pussy when he lost to Mox that, then there's this now, and then, he has PTSD from when he was in prison, and I'm like, wait, no, you're making Eddie look like, you want to talk about like, wannabe thugs? There you go. That's what you're making Eddie look like. One of those.
You want to talk about catering to a specific? They're catering to a nerdy white demographic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's because they're banking on the idea that you don't know what people are like in or out of prison, or what prison does to people. That you're banking off this concept that these people are too soft to know that stuff. And I'm speaking from the experience of being a corrections officer for, what was it, 3-4 years at the most notorious unit in the state. Not the state, city. There's one that's worse in Florence. That's definitely way more notorious than the one I was at. But in Tucson, if you tell people the name of my unit and you tell them you did it, they go, oh. And the unit I was on had 3 riots while I was there. It was tough. So I'm not speaking from an idea of like he sounds like a goof. It's the experience of like I've watched a lot of this stuff and I've run into a lot of those inmates after the fact. And I mean, there's issues obviously, and there's some reality to some stuff. But like, no, if you're saying that you went into a wrestling ring that had some barbed wire on the edge and it made you think of prison and you had a panic attack and passed out, I'll tell you, you weren't on my unit. I'll tell you that. Justin says Tony Khan made himself look more like an asshole for claiming videos. Oh, yeah, claiming the videos and Twitter accounts on anyone having negative opinion on the whole thing. That's true, too. If it was all part of it and it's all just part of the gag, they went through and started copyright tagging everybody who was posting that video with anything negative to say. The only ones that stayed up were people who were saying positive things before that spot happened.
Yep. But when I think of wrestlers that were in prison, I always think of MVP.
Yeah.
And I mean, he was in there quite a long time. I don't know about Eddie's situation, but yeah. When I think of him in that situation, I know if he, swap places, with Eddie Kingston right here, he would have been, no. Are you kidding me? No. You gotta make it shit, as real as authentic, because that's no joke. I mean, the crime that he committed was no joke. So that's where I'm kind of like, ugh. But I think that with Tony, and I don't know who put this in his head, but this is their now second, attempt at death match, and honestly, doesn't work. Does not work, because the people you're doing death match with aren't those kind of people. You fired one of them who was great, and I don't think he did any. And you have one on your roster. Yeah. So, but he's really not a deathmatch wrestler. He just gets rolled into it. So, and you have a lot of access to have knowledgeable people to tell you about these kind of matches. Maybe not exploding barbed wire. I mean, the guy had Onita there, but I mean, you know, like, I'm sure there are enough people that you can use as a resource. But it's just, I think it's Tony's ego, I think, that really is the one that stops this. Because I don't, and then the other thing that bothers me with this deathmatch thing is now, you know, when you're looking at Dynamite now, you know, Kenny that was my favorite line of Revolution is Don Callis was like, oh my God, he's the king of death, you know, the god of deathmatch. And you hear JR and he was like, no. And I was just dying because, you know, like, you know, JR was just like, this is some bullshit, people. You know, he was not buying it either. And I just love salty JR sometimes. But
he was fed up during his pay-per-view.
He was, and you can tell. And honestly, like, I posted on Twitter that I would love, like, when I think of like who's the king of deathmatch, the king of that shit is Nick fucking Gage. MDK all day. Okay.
Yeah, he did some serious prison time too. How many times did he had a panic attack in a ring with deathmatch because there's barbed wire? Yeah. He just had a panic attack. That's what I mean. Like the idea that it's not possible is it's not off the table, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it's possible that a panic attack can happen, but what I'm saying is it doesn't make Eddie tough, and Eddie's in a tough spot already. Yeah. And the thing that Eddie has that no one else on your roster has is a believable toughness when he talks. Mm-hmm. And now he's going soft. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? He's going soft for your company to cover up. The same way fucking Matt Hardy did. Stop making your talent suffer the consequences for your stupid mistakes as a promoter. Just eat it as the booker. Let the fucking company take the heat. Don't force it onto your top guys because you think they can withstand it. You can withstand it. You're AE fucking W. Kingston's still getting his footing in national TV.
And then he's losing now everything. Like, his whole little family's gone. Like, you know, you've got Death Triangle or whatever now. And so Penta and Phoenix are gone. And now I think Butcher and the Bunny and the Blade hightailed it out of there. So it's like,
Kiro says, let's pretend WWE made the same mistake. No one would let them live it down. AEW has no excuse. Matter of fact, on Raw, with the Randy Orton post flashbang you were talking about, one post didn't ignite, and I saw a bunch of people just giving him total shit, being like, "Oh my God, their one post didn't go." I'm like, "Yeah, but the other 3 posts melted down the fucking arena." You know what I mean? Like, it's fine. Yeah. But also, I couldn't see any kind of pack to let me. I had no reason to believe the 3rd post was, the 4th post was supposed to go off. I mean, it's safe to say it's more symmetrical, so it probably would want to go off, but it didn't, and people were freaking out about it. That is way different than this fizzle out at the end of this thing and then telling your talent to take the heat.
Yeah. I didn't see it, but I heard about it.
Yeah, and Kiro says, imagine you paid for that pay-per-view. And I mean, this pay-per-view was an absolute waste of money. I'm glad that I stopped. Yeah, cheers to you. But I think there should be more of an outrage. Back in the day when people would have shitty fucking endings and stuff like that, WCW, when they did it, they would fucking call their cable company and get the money back. And you'd see huge backlashes from stuff like that. I wish AEW fans had the fucking gall to do that because it would make AEW pay attention.
They have the gall to do other things, fans, and complain and whatever and be social justice warriors, but you will not go and telephone, hey, I want my $50 back because that was some bullshit. Yeah. You know, no, they won't do that. I don't understand that, but whatever. You know. Yeah.
But I thought it was really unfortunate because there was definitely that match was making it so good. I was forgetting about how much some of this other stuff was sucking, so I was getting really into it. And then for it to end like that, I was just like, you got to be shitting me. Yeah. There was one part in there where Excalibur said something about, oh, he wants this or he wants this person. And all of a
Oh.
sudden JR said, oh, we're all a bunch of mind readers around here, aren't we? We always know exactly what everyone's thinking. He wants this. He wants that. This person wants this. And he goes, we're all just a bunch of mind readers. Isn't that lucky? And then Caliber just got quiet. And I was like, fuck, JR. It was awesome.
JR drinking that night? I don't know.
Yeah.
You really never saw commentary, so I didn't know if he had something
well,
if he had a cup.
He
up
sounded
there.
really sick. His throat was really bothering him. I don't know that he was drinking at all, but I hope he had at least a hot toddy.
He was great.
Yeah,
The longer it
Let's
went
see.
on, the more pissed off he got, and it was I think it was like one of the greatest things.
Let's see. Justin Time said it was overhyped and overpriced. Kuro says he got his money back. That's the first thing he did. He goes, my company was very willing to give it back because the agent I was talking with bought it and was disappointed as well.
Oh, well,
fantastic.
he lucked out.
Yeah. He all calls them and goes, I paid for the AEW thing. I goes, oh, fuck. Let me get say no more. Let me get you that money back.
Yeah, I feel you. Here you go.
100%.
That's horrible. No, I'm not gonna say it's horrible.
Yeah.
But
the AEW fans say that there's nothing wrong that AEW can do, and that brings us to Dynamite. We can definitely flip back and forth between Dynamite and the pay-per-view as we go here. But I'll be honest, we've said it 100 times, we're not ratings people, but I do find the ratings numbers to be interesting in a sense. And they got 730, so they're down from the last 2 weeks. And they're down from the Shaq thing and
I guess
significantly from Shaq. So I guess after you have a shit-ass pay-per-view and you have the best show the week before, people are a little more hesitant probably to just tune in.
And also, I think maybe the All-Star game, they were maybe hoping that what they saw of Shaq would continue. You had nothing like that, so that could be part of it too. So, but I don't know.
Well, Amanda, I avidly did not watch most of Dynamite. I saw a few clips here and there. I saw a bit of the Scorpio Sky stuff. I didn't see anything of what Sting said. I saw the Inner Circle business, and I saw a little flash of Christian Cage, because following on social media, I could tell there was not much of note happening. And Kuro adds, the Factor in Canada just got NXT back. That's true. NXT just came on the Canadian networks, the Canadian waves. They have them. And I was really curious to see how that would affect things too, because you know what? AEW was up. They were just shy of 700. So they got really close to each other at this time. So it could very well be that a lot of people were all like,
yeah, we're signing Canadians. We signed Canadians on Sunday.
Oh, yeah, they thought the Ethan Page was going to be the Factor on that one.
No.
Well,
There's
Amanda, what were some of the highlights here of Dynamite? Because I'll tell you from what I saw, I thought I was a little bummed out. Scorpio Sky lost immediately. I don't think it's going to help his momentum. But you were saying that there was a really good thing that came out of it.
Well, there's a couple good things. I guess in its own weird way, I can say that I really felt that none of the matches were really, they're nothing to write home about. Let's be honest. I mean, I don't think that, I don't even know what their focus is, but I just know that there really wasn't a lot about that. And it was weird because they tied up some things and they didn't tie up other things. I think one of the big misses was, okay, you have Darby is wrestling for that championship, and he's giving the winner of, it just happened a couple days ago, the pay-per-view, this opportunity. And like, Sting, did you just throw your son away because you guys won and yay, we don't need daddy anymore, bye. So I thought that was a little weird that we didn't see Sting, because I thought we were going to maybe see Sting, kind of coming out there.
Came out and said some stuff.
No, but he didn't come out during Darby's match.
Oh, but he never does. Remember
He
Darby
sh-
had
but
that
he
other match and he didn't come out for.
Yeah, but he should have.
Sting's real picky about that stuff. You know what I think it is? If I'm being honest and being a shitty wrestling journalist who makes up my own facts, because that's what we do here now. Because I'll tell you, I made up that shit. My inside information, I think Sting gets paid by appearance. I think that it would cost more to have him come out for multiple segments. And I think that's why we see him once a week, every week, because I think that's the contract.
Got it.
I will make one appearance every week. So I think that he can't come out there during Darby's thing and then also have a promo. You get one or the other, pal. That's what I think.
Before I get into it, because I saw you pouring another drink. So your cold brew, still gross?
Still gross.
Yep. Okay. Sorry. I had to be concerned. Because, you know. By the way, if Marsh dies, blame it on Jameson cold brew. I'm just reminding everybody.
Blame it on the alcohol, baby.
Yeah.
What?
They sure did.
What I'm doing instead is, because NXT's in Canada now, I'm gonna have the final amount of the Crown Royal salted caramel from the.
Nice.
So sponsored, not sponsored, Crown Royal.
There you go.
Let's see.
Well,
I'm gonna catch us up on the chatter in the thing, and then we're gonna throw it back to you, Amanda. Kiro says Canadian wrestling fans don't really like AEW because TSN is a pay monthly network and NXT is included on basic free sports channel with basic cable. That is. I love that because I'm into the petty shit.
Yep, that's very petty. I love it.
Oh, think about it too, because remember when they got out there that Cody was bragging and saying, "Oh, I'll tell you about this too." Cody was bragging and saying all this like, "Oh, we got the best international package of literally any wrestling company ever." So for NXT to come in like a year later and be like, "Wait a second, more homes for less? Let me walk right in there." Justin Time says Tony Khan tweeted at South Park's Twitter set what? Okay, let's see. Tony Khan tweeted at South Park's Twitter something the vaccination special. Sather? Yeah, there must be a typo. So Twitter special. South Park's Twitter account. Sather? I don't know what this fucking word is. Tony Khan tweeted at South Park's Twitter, probably seemingly about the vaccination special last night. Took viewers away. Saying that their vaccination special last night took viewers away from AEW. And then he kind of fixes it in the second one, and I didn't even get to that. I was having such a hard time getting through the one before it. Tony Khan tweeted at South Park's Twitter because their vaccination special last night took viewers away. Is what he was saying. The first one was a mess, and then I made it worse, and I apologize. I should have read through and then gone through. Sorry about that. I've made a fool out of both of us. So, but... yeah, I like the idea. Tony Khan's all like, you guys took away my customers. And Canada's all like, what?
How petty are you going to be, bro? How petty?
Yeah, South Park.
For real. I'm like, how petty, dude? Oh, my God. Someone needs to take this wrestling, company away from you. Let me run it
wasn't
for
Kenny
a
who was
month.
tweeting. That dude's been rough. Also, so there's this rumor going around that NXT is going to move to Tuesdays. And Cody tweeted out. Well, he didn't tweet out. He was in an interview. Actually said it with words. He goes, I don't want to sound braggadocious, but we've been dominating them every week for the past year. So if they moved to Tuesday nights, we can pretty much take that as the white flag. And I was all like, what? It's like, you don't want to sound braggadocious, but you're bragging about a thing you didn't actually accomplish? Yes. Yeah, week after week, on average... odds are you probably did do better than them, but it was never by much, and sometimes not at all. And sometimes those margins were completely flipped. So the idea, it was just like, oh my God, Cody, fucking relax. Some of these people got to, check these guys.
No,
but you said Scorpio Sky had a big heel turn. I did see part of that. He was beating the shit out of Darby.
He did. He kind of went nuts. Now, I will say this. I was really, of any of the matches last night, that was the one I was really looking forward to, because like you, I always thought that Scorpio Sky was going to come out ahead of all of this, and he's going to be a huge star. Him and Hangman. Oh yeah, those were the two.
I thought Scorpio Sky would be the first person to outgrow AEW, that he would become so big that WWE would just start throwing money at him.
Yeah, or anybody would be throwing money at him. Because already you got to remember that if you didn't know, that he was actually with Shibata when Shibata had come over to the New Japan LA Dojo. Scorpio Sky was his right-hand man. So, he's got a lot behind him, and also can bring a lot backstage too, to a lot of people, the younger talent as well. So, I mean, AEW's got all of this.
Yeah.
So, the match was very underwhelming. if you're a Darby Allin fan, I would have been, this match sucks because it wasn't like a Darby Allin match. If you like Scorpio Sky, that match sucked. Really wasn't like Scorpio Sky. It looks like the two of them were bored. But the good thing I liked out of it was you saw this turn. Because obviously, there's big with SCU. It's really big now with Frankie and CD, their tag team thing. Yeah, I get that. Scorpio Sky doesn't have anything to do. And it would be great if he kind of goes the route that Big Swole did with coming out and basically saying that I'm underutilized, I'm here. I'm owed a championship match, all this other stuff. So I think that maybe that might be his direction is, I deserve to have my spot too. And I think he's earned it. And I really feel that it was really kind of cool to see Darby get beat up like that, but just for personal reasons, but but it really was very uncharacteristic of Scorpio Sky. Yeah. And I think that'll be interesting how his heelness is going to go. It'll be very interesting. Yeah, the matches that'll come out of it. I'm very curious about it. So it makes me wonder, is this Sting's next opponent? Is Scorpio Sky? Because of the relationship with Darby?
That could be. Because I will say that everyone in this company is heel, so it makes the heel turns and babyface turn more peculiar to me. But yeah. That could be cool. Scorpio versus Sting could be very interesting.
Yeah, I think that actually, now that I said that, I think actually that would be a really, really good program and a strong one to have, because again, you have somebody who's very technically sound wrestler, and that that actually he's not going to look like, okay, I'm not one of these herdy people, I don't injure people, so it's not going to, safety isn't an issue. I think that actually might go very well. Do I need all these Sting promos? No, probably not. I think that's what killed the Darby Allin Team Taz thing. So but that's the good positive. I mean, it's going to be interesting where they take Scorpio Sky. If they falter him now and do nothing or make it kind of shitty, then that just is going to be very disappointing.
Yeah, I know. That's to me the real next move. What happens next? I mean, what do you do with Scorpio? Because I feel like there's definitely a ceiling there. I've talked about the same problem I have with SmackDown and Raw. Is it feels like there's definitely a ceiling now with certain champions. It doesn't feel like that anybody could jump up that next level. It feels like there's quite a hurdle to get past that next level, and I feel like the AEW's done quite a good job of creating that wall of fortitude around their championship title picture that everyone's allowed in, but no one's allowed to stay. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you'll come in and get your match and lose, and then we'll kick you back out, and then we're going to go back to the other stories, or the other players we have on this level. So it does make me a little nervous, because I think Scorpio Sky is the type of person who you can put the title on out there, and it could make a big splash. Apart from that, the only other thing... Go ahead.
Or do you think they'll faction him up?
They have every fucking buddy else.
I know. But where would he go?
Who fucking knows? I don't think they should. I think you should be a standalone guy.
I don't think they should either.
But everyone else is in a faction, so why not? The only other thing because we already talked about Omega and Cage, was the Inner Circle MJF turning and joining up with the Horsemen. So now you have Sean Spears, FTR, MJF, and Wardlow. So the 5 Horsemen. Yeah.
And everybody's in this, oh my God, this storyline. MJF is like a truly a god, because this is long-term storyline. The part I'm talking about, because Marsh, you told me part of what you'd seen, the part of it was he's been kind of hinting at when we first started at certain things, and and that's why that's how this all started. And then you told me
they had pictures of MJF and Sean Spears ringside at the beginning of the pandemic when they were placing bets on matches for that one segment. The one time MJF was ringside, because all the heels were ringside, and they did that whole thing. And people are all like, "Oh my god, long-term storytelling." I'm like, 2 heels gambling is not long-term storytelling. Because the other thing is MJF didn't look at Sean Spears and be like we've always said. They were on opposite sides of the fucking ring even the whole time. Like they never even fucking. It was just ridiculous. Like that's awfully forgiving to say, "Oh, here's your long-term storytelling." Remember when they sat next to each other in the cafeteria? Long-term. Like, fuck out of here.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I hope this means that when Flubber got thrown into whatever the hell that was, the little
crash
pit,
pad.
I'm hoping we don't see much more of him for a while.
Did you see how he was twitching too, like an idiot?
Yeah, like he had.
Fucking
I'm like,
stupid.
do you have like some kind of like Tourette's or something that you're like? I'm like, what are you doing? Yeah,
He was like
it just
cartoonishly
bad.
twitching, like,
Yeah.
Get the
Yeah.
fucking stop.
And
like, you know, fucking.
Yeah,
better.
and again, you made a couple people look really weak, which you shouldn't have. Santana and Ortiz. That's another
Yep.
one, you know. And I was like, oh man, like this is
Well,
nuts.
even Guevara looked like an idiot. And I know
Well,
that you
he's
don't
an
like
idiot.
him, and I barely care for him anyways. But at the same time,
Well-
like, you just made everyone look stupid.
Yeah, well, Sammy's already stupid, but I agree. He looked more stupid than
Yeah.
normal. But
Yeah.
you know, I mean, but
And
you
also,
know,
it's not good
felt-
long-term storytelling if you're watching every week saying, "Oh, look at MJF's planting another seed," but everyone
No.
around him doesn't see it. You all saw it. That makes everyone who you're rooting for an idiot.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
'Cause
It's so weird. I don't know.
I don't think MJF came up with this whole storyline. I can tell you that. I don't think he did.
Yeah,
I don't know who did. But it
I
was
wish
probably a
MJF brought
collaboration.
in Hammerstone and whoever that other fool is in MLW. I don't like with the AirPods.
Who's that?
There's some.
Are you
fucking
talking about
dweeb they have.
Fatu?
No, I don't think so. There's some dweeb over there. So there's like this. There was a faction that MJF was in with Hammerstone, and there was like a
Oh.
third guy. Who
Oh,
was
I
like
didn't watch him.
Oh well, I
Yeah.
would have rather that than this because this to me is already flat. MJF is clearly the star in the thing. Sean Spears is clearly a lackey in this whole thing. Like FTR is so good. I think that they're like trying to bank on the idea that here's some good classic wrestlers. Oh, Richard Holiday is the guy I'm thinking of.
Oh, okay.
And I'm sure he's fine. I'm sure he's good. The skits I saw was just not. I just didn't find it funny. But hey, I don't find a lot of stuff funny. Like we're gonna talk about Gargano comes out again, and it's not funny. But a lot of people find it funny. So I don't mean that as like a total dig to Richard Holiday. I'm sure he's fine and talented and all that. But
But Hammerstone, I am shocked that we have not seen Hammerstone on Dark. to
I
be
think he
honest with
re-signed with MLW because they've had so much faith
you.
in him.
Oh, goddamn MLW. They got to be less restrictive. They've screwed so many people over. That's why I don't watch them.
Yeah, that's possible.
Mhm.
So okay. Well, let me hit the chat real quick. So, Kiro says in regards to Cody's comment earlier, Cody doesn't know business. If that's the white flag. He goes because if NXT moves to Tuesdays, they compete with AEW Dark, and Dark is the lesser product, meaning WWE can have way more eyes on it on Tuesdays, and Dark will cease to have people watching its live premiere on YouTube. Which, as we've seen, AEW is relying heavily on their YouTube product right now, so that could be a hit. Just in Time says, who would you really watch Dark and Impact over NXT if they move to Tuesdays? Kuro says, and premieres on YouTube don't send notifications to everyone saying it's live. Maybe a fourth of their YouTube base would even get the notification. And then Kuro says, what came out was NWO 2.0 with NWO MJF. Yeah, that's a lot of what it felt like.
Yeah.
I don't know. None of this stuff made me more excited about it. It actually kind of makes me more even disappointed in the product in and of itself. Is there anything here that you liked about it? I'm excited to see what happens with Scorpio Sky, but that's literally the only story I'm interested in at this point.
You know, honestly, no. It was really cute that Hangman, he went on, about the Matt Hardy thing, and he bought himself a tractor. No, a lawnmower, one of those fancy lawnmowers, and all the Dark Order guys came and they were all like posing on the lawnmower. So it was like a farmers only like photo. Like if you were to join, if like one of them were on farmers only or one of those weird, dating sites, that could be that meme picture. It was kind of funny in that regard, but I don't think that's what they were going for. But yeah, there was nothing. There was really nothing.
All right. Well, I'm going to continue to not watch. You continue to let me know if I should ever tune back in, and we'll see if we even bother getting the next pay-per-view, because that was a rough one. It definitely overpromised and underdelivered in a major way.
Yeah, absolutely. I could not agree more. But it's really interesting now. Like, they're making big deals of these in between matches. Like right now, like next week, St. Patrick's Day, it's some big old St. Patrick's Day, whatever. And
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, okay, you don't have an Irishman that works for you, like a real one. I'm like, you didn't do any Black History things. You didn't do anything. And it's like, come on, really?
Yeah.
They could have had a really cool, Dynamite where it was just all Black wrestlers, male and female. But no. We get a match with dinosaurs and bears.
Remember for Black History that Cody released a T-shirt you could buy to support Black History?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. How much money did that raise, Cody? I'm curious. If anyone knows this, please let me know. Let Marsh know, because I'm curious.
I'll make it up and report it live. Justin Time says, Hammerstone is so awesome. I don't know how MLW has been able to keep him for so long. Hammerstone, friend of the show. Yes and no. Like he's not officially. He's friend, not friend, but he actually came out of Arizona. He's one of our local heroes, as it were. He follows me on Instagram. We've tweeted back and forth a few times, and I recorded a show for him once he was on. So, Hammerstone, I don't know that he's made the connection. There's no reason for him to make the connection, but the promotion that he wrestles for here in Tucson, which he does come down to from time to time still. Matter of fact, one of the last times I even filmed for them before COVID, he came backstage and we were talking for a bit, but he wasn't even wrestling that night. He just came by. So he's a really good dude. I agree. I think my gut, and I haven't asked him, I think it's because I do know he had some NXT tryouts and he did not get picked up, which to me is fucking impossible. But it happens. I mean, you saw it in the Keith Lee story. Yeah, he went 6 times and they didn't pick him up, even though he was making waves. And sometimes, William Regal said, sometimes they tell you no just to see what you do when they tell you no. Like, they want to see if you're the type of talent who really loves this enough to say, all right, fuck you, I'm going to go be successful anyways. Because there's a lot there. Because sometimes, look at any people. Look at Bianca Belair. WrestleMania main event, arguably, this year. All of last year, she was backstage at Raw doing almost nothing because they weren't ready for her. And how are you going to respond to that? Are you going to be like an EC3 who doesn't put in the effort anymore, visibly on TV, and then say, oh, if you don't have 5 minutes for me every week, then you're fucking up, not the other way around. So sometimes they just say no to people. And I think I got to feel in my gut that that's what's going on with Hammerstone. Is he's tried out, I think, twice, wasn't picked up. And I think because MLW believed in him, really built the show around him, put the title on him. He's like one of their main guys. I think that he's just very loyal, from what I gather. I mean, the fact he came to that show I was just talking about and hung up backstage for no reason, just to come by and support. He's a loyal guy, and he knows who. Yeah. You know what I mean? He knows who invests in him and who trusts in him, and that goes a long way for him. So. Yeah.
That's what. Yeah, he's the champ of one of my home promotions, West Coast Pro Wrestling. Shout out to those guys. And Will and a lot of those Bay Area guys, if they weren't on the card, Will was always a staple. But even when Will injured his hand, he broke his hand after the Chris Dickinson match he had. Will came around and was there every show. And, these guys, like, there's very few that are these good guys that are still, they're rooted in, like, places they came up with. There are very few of them. And I think that if you are lucky enough to live somewhere that you get somebody like that, those are the people you want to champion to be. These people are the shit. I mean, they've got good things going on for them and things like that. I mean, I think all of the major, I know Seattle's got a couple. Chicago, I really say it's not really fair. I don't want to say Chicago because honestly, a lot of people come out of Chicago. So, I mean, they'll get through eventually. But in these smaller towns like Tucson, I mean, and even in LA, you never know. You never know. So
Yeah. And I think a lot of these guys, in as many ways as the business is not as rough as it used to be, it's still in very many ways an incredibly tough business to become successful in. And I think in some regards tougher than ever because there's a lot more shitty, carny promoters who are willing to screw over the talent than I think there was allowed to be in the past. I think when you had guys, and I think this is a much deeper conversation than we'll get into, but I think that in regards to like when Undertaker tells his side of stories and stuff and says that they were like real hard guys, and then you hear about guys pulling guns on promoters for not getting paid. Well, that was probably part of the reason why maybe it was easier to make $100-$200 a night. Because the promoter was kind of physically afraid of their people sometimes. You know what I mean? So there's that. And I think right now you have a lot of pushover people who just want to be in the business, just to be in the business because it's what they always dreamed of and they grew up loving it and they're big fans. So that's why they want to be here. And it's not a business, it's a hobby. And I think because of that, a lot of promoters are able to take advantage of people. So I think that guys like Hammerstone, who this is the business, they appreciate the people who take care of him and believe in him because it's a tough business. So that's all. That's my 2 cents on it. Let's talk NXT.
Oh my God.
NXT
is so good.
NXT.
Yeah. I'm drinking that Kool-Aid, let me tell you.
That's funny. It's good.
I'm drinking that Kool-Aid.
What all right. Well, let's talk about it. Let's talk NXT. I mean, AEW was what it was. Let me know what happens next. But in NXT, it opened up with William Regal announcing that Stand and Deliver TakeOver was going to be 2 nights. It sounds like a couple days before WrestleMania. And he announced the NXT Women's Tag Team titles and then immediately awarded them to Raquel and Dakota. Just said, here you go. Remember you lost last, well, now you get these. Surprise. So Adam Pearce was mean and now you got your own titles. Woo!
Woo!
That's what it felt like. I'm going to be honest. And I want to know what you think about this. Don't let me sway you yet, but if I sway you, I'm ready to have you on board. So the 2-night takeover to me is like, okay, I'm excited, but also a little indifferent to it. I only get so excited for takeovers because NXT and takeovers can kind of blur as far as like what you're getting versus like it's all their matches are that good. You know what I mean? So I don't get I don't know that I love the idea of 2 nights, but I think that half of that has to do with the idea that you have ticketed fans for this year's WrestleMania. So I feel like they're just trying to get something out there people can attend. And what better way to do it than NXT? Yeah. Because I'll tell you, if you're one of like the 2,500 people who are getting in or whatever it is, you're probably a pretty serious fan and you probably love takeovers. So get that too. So that whole part aside, and then we'll get your take on it. The introduction of the NXT Women's Tag Titles and the immediately handing them over to Raquel and Dakota was to me so very underwhelming. And to me such a disappointment. Because the women's tag titles they have now are meant to be on all 3 brands. And the past couple months, Shayna and Nia have been doing it. But granted, they did not do it for a long time before that. Charlotte and Asuka never even bothered to go near the NXT division. Matter of fact, the Iconics never did either. The only team that ever actually toured it every week, besides Shayna and Nia the past month, was Bayley and Sasha. And I think a lot of that had to do with the idea of what they had in mind for those titles and them being so personally invested in those titles. But now you've basically undermined those titles by saying, hey, those titles never do what they're supposed to anyways, and they're wrapped up in storylines that aren't actually tag team storylines anyhow. So might as well just make our own tag title because we actually have a bunch of women here who need to be fighting for something. But this is also on the heels of a women's Dusty Cup. Amanda, you still with us?
I see your name.
I just see your name too. Let me see.
I don't know if she dropped us or...
Yeah, I don't know if she paused us so she could run and do something, which is possible. We might be in her ear. But I'll finish my sentence and then we'll see. So this is right on the heels of the women's Dusty Cup, which was a miniature tournament because they didn't have enough women to fill out a full tournament. So if you don't have enough women in your main roster to be putting those titles in enough storylines, and you don't have enough women on your NXT roster to actively be doing a full-on tournament, because there was only like 2 women tag teams in the whole thing, the rest of it was a bunch of single stars plopped together, then what are you doing? Why do you need 2 sets of titles amongst 3 brands that don't have enough women to utilize those titles correctly? This doesn't feel like it's going to be a success. This feels like here's another place where those titles are just going to kind of do their own thing in this vacuum.
I don't see there's, I'm sorry, I'm back now. I don't see there's the point of having that many of the tag titles. Now, I get, there's a lot of women, but usually tag team, it feels to me, WWE, and especially with women, they put that in the back burner. So I'm like, I don't know about this. So we'll see. But I just thought it made no sense just to give it to those 2. And I knew it was going to go away, but I did not, off of them, I just did not think it was going to be that same night. That was a little underwhelming too for me. I was like, oh, that was the only thing that I thought was wrong about NXT. That's the only bad thing I didn't like. But
here's the other thing too, is like, why are you getting awarded a title that you didn't win or earn? And, I'm not trying to say that Dakota and Raquel didn't deserve them in some way, but you were literally awarded them because you were, quote, screwed out of your title defense in the other one. But we didn't know you were going to win that match to begin with. Just because the ref gets knocked out doesn't mean you were going to win. This isn't like Dakota having Shayna in some crazy hold that Shayna was tapping out on and there just wasn't a ref present. They were getting their asses kicked when the ref went down too. So there was no way to know that they could have won. It just was a match that didn't end the way that it was probably supposed to. You know what I mean? Like, we had no reason to believe that they were going to win. So for them to be just awarded a title, it's kind of undermined the titles to begin with. You started off with you're the first ever, and you won nothing to get it, right? They're already the first ever, what do you call it, Dusty Cup winners. They're the first ever Dusty Cup. Why couldn't you just say, because you were screwed out of your title chance last week, this week we're introducing these titles, and you're going to get a chance at them. We just got to find you a team. And then you have Shotzi and Ember come out and say, it should be us, and this is why. And then have William Regal say, you know what? I love it. I love it. The 2 of you go in there. The 4 of you go in there. You figure it out, rascals. You get yourself some titles.
Yeah, I would have preferred that.
You didn't need to have a first ever and a second ever in the same night.
Yeah.
Especially when your first ever didn't win it.
Yeah.
They didn't win it. And that bothers me because I think that they're good enough to deserve that win.
Oh yeah. That whole thing was, I don't know. I don't think they were thinking on that one. That's what I chalked it to.
And here's also my concern. My thought process is, well, for one, we're all dumb on this show. And we don't know anything. We speculate based off what we see on TV, and we make up stuff as we go and we pretend we're journalists, because that's how the internet works. I'm a journalist now, goddammit.
You are.
I'll tweet it. I'll tweet it in its fact. But it really feels like the NXT was supposed to get these women's tag titles, and they had a lot of plans on what they were going to do with them. Yeah. And that the main roster was like, we don't want our stars losing to your developing children. We're going to go ahead and just take these titles back now. Yeah. And so NXT is like, are we ever going to get them? Like, nah, we've decided we'll never lose to you. And then they said, well, we'll just get our own ball, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what it feels like to me.
Yeah. I always thought that they were going to do it a long time ago. Back when I really wasn't watching, just because of the strength on the women's division alone of NXT. The days when Bayley was still there and Bayley was champ and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, but there's that. But hear me out. The reason the women's tag titles became a thing on the main roster is because Bayley and Sasha spearheaded a tag team division. They literally got other women to pair up to have matches with them. And literally pitch tag matches all the time, because they were always putting women in these random tag matches anyways.
Yeah.
And they said, why can't it be for something? So they got women to consistently be in tag matches. And if you go back and watch that Elimination Chamber that has those titles, there's only one team that seems a little out of place, and they were still a pretty young team, and that's Fabulous Glow, where they put Naomi and Carmella together only for a couple weeks before that one. But all the other teams were long-term teams. Sonya, Mandy, Liv, Ruby. I forget all the other teams. Nia and Tamina were a thing for a while.
Mhm.
So you had a number of actual teams in there.
Yeah.
At this point, NXT has done nothing to build a tag team division. They literally, like I just said, just had a Dusty Cup with 8 teams that they fucking made up last minute because there was only 2 actual teams in there.
Yeah, whereas the men, it's solid. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no tag division in NXT. It doesn't mean they can't build one. But I'm saying you haven't done anything to start establishing teams yet. You've had Shanti and Ember hang out for a couple weeks straight. You've had Dakota and Raquel be a thing for a while, but for a while you couldn't tell who was really supporting who here.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got Indy and Candice. But that's it. That's not a division. That's a couple of teams.
Caden and Casey.
Cade and Casey started becoming a thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it's all been very short term. So I'm not saying they couldn't get there and we're not going to get there eventually or anything like that. But I'm saying it just seems a little soon and it seems a little weird. Now, let me say what's happening in the chat real quick because Just in Time, I'm sure, has a mouthful because this dude comes around on Twitter talking tough and I had to slam him down the other day.
Oh, good Lord.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Let's
Let's see. Yeah, it was my journalist side of me. Grim Reaper says, I think Io will main event night 1 and Finn on night 2 as far as the takeover thing. Maybe. Yeah,
takeover. I can tell you about my
Yeah. Just in Time says, oh, here he goes. Here he goes.
Uh-oh.
Oh, shit. Here we go. He says, the main roster women's tag team championships are going to feel completely irrelevant because the women are going to be more interested in the NXT titles instead of those. Plus, they didn't need the second set if they already had the one set that was supposed to be defended on all 3 brands. Yeah, similar to what I was saying. And I think that, I don't know I guess it would inadvertently undervalue the main ones to say, like, well, fuck you, we don't want yours, we have our own. And then to have a bunch of women in NXT fighting for a title that effectively they have a shot for anyways, like if you could get an opportunity at the main roster one. I think they really should have dropped those titles in a fucking shit finish. You know what I mean? Protect your people, however you're gonna do it. Have Nia fall through a table and break her hole, and have the ref be knocked out, and have someone cost Shayna the match, and then that's how you put the NXT titles on, or the women's tag titles in NXT, and just let them float down there for a bit. We don't need them on the main roster. We're not using them anyways. Grim Reaper says, like the North American Championship is to the NXT title, the NXT Women's Tag Championship could be to the NXT Women's Championship. More screen time and shine for up-and-comers. Well, yeah, of course. That's what I was saying about the Women's Tag Championship to begin with. And what I thought was so good about it is because they have such a small women's division, because like it or not, as much as we talk about how strong the women's division is in all these companies, or in all these brands, it wasn't that long ago they did a lumberjack match for the women, and there was 2 women on each side of the ring with 2 women inside of the ring, and that was the entire women's locker room. 10. You had 10 women. You could only do 1 Elimination Chamber match for that brand. You know what I mean? So, when you look at the rosters, they're just thin. They're just not a lot. And it's just because, I forget who, Jim Ross was saying it in one of his things where he said that you just typically don't have as many women growing up saying I want to be a wrestler as you do boys. So you end up with a lopsided people. He's like, he said for a while it was incredibly hard to find women to come into the company at all. That's why they had such bad wrestlers, because they were trying to get models who just were looking for to be on TV, because they just couldn't find women who wanted to be wrestlers. It doesn't mean they weren't all out there in general, but it's just a smaller pool of people. So they should just use that tag title to do all the up-and-comers on all brands. I think it'd be great. Reamer says, who could be the next Leon Ruff for the women's tag titles? Oh, my God. And Splinter Fox says, ding dong, hello. There should be only 1 men's and females tag titles and have them float on all 3 brands. I've been so adamantly against that for so long with the men's titles.
No,
But the men's tag teams are getting really shallow. You know what I mean? Like, we're only getting a couple teams now at this point on the main brands. And there used to feel like there was a good 5, 6 teams, 7 teams who could be doing their own little stories. Now it really feels like there's 2 teams on each brand.
I feel right now that MSK's stay in NXT is going to be very, very short. And I feel that when we see these 2 debut, they're going to be a tag team. I don't know if they've changed their names yet, but Blake Christian and Alex Zane, they're going to be a tag team. And someone else is going to move up too. Maybe Grizzled Young Vets. I don't know. I'd like to see them move up. And then, I don't know. But I think that that's what you're seeing is because, okay, you have a lot of men you're getting, and you're getting a lot of really good talent. And I think that they've got people who do very good tag team wrestling this time around. So there's that are pure, like usually pure tag teams. But
yeah,
I think that that's what's going to be the difference, and that's going to be the big shockwave. I would not be surprised that I'd say probably by toward the end of the year that you're going to see MSK on the main roster.
Yeah. I can see
Hell,
that.
I'd even say like the earliest, but I think would be premature, would be SummerSlam, but I don't think it would be that. No, it'd be a little longer.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's definitely a conversation I'm willing to entertain at this point. For a long time, I was not. Because people have been saying that for years. Just make one tag title and float them around, even before the women's tag titles. Then when the women's tag titles came around, they said they were going to do that. They're like, yes, now do that with the men's titles. And I was like, no, stop. Don't do that.
Yeah.
But we're getting to a point now where you only have a couple teams. Splinter Fox says they keep breaking up the tag teams, and it's true.
Yeah.
Keep breaking them the fuck up.
They need to get people who are pure tag teams. And there are very few who are, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. It's tough. It's tough. Like I said, I think I'd entertain that conversation now. I don't know where I fall on it yet, just because I don't want to. So, so we'll talk about it then too, because it happened not at the end, but towards the end, middle there. Shotzi and Ember end up winning the women's tag titles and become the second ever tag team champions. And Ember Moon immediately becomes the first woman ever to hold the NXT Women's Championship and the NXT Tag Team Championships. Fucking Bishop from Terrible Wrestling Takes talking his shit is all like, oh, here comes Charlotte. And I'm like, oh, fuck.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
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 That's all I'm going to say. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Can Bayley go
what is
back?
those new titles on the block? Well, I guess Charlotte's looming in the shadows.
Well, can we have Bayley go back so at least she's won all 5?
I know. That more than anything, I want Bayley to go back there and win those.
Her and Sasha can win it, and then they can be one that, okay, they win it. They have 2 matches that night. They win it, and then it goes away later. That's fine. Just to say they just have their name thrown into the mix.
Mm-hmm.
Give it a week, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. So the match in and of itself was decent.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I've been saying it for a while, that as much as we love Shotzi, because we do, she's got so much personality and so much charisma, and she is so willing to try anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's wild out there, and at times that makes us nervous. I've said it before, where I didn't think that she would win against Io, because I didn't think she was ready to have that level of a singles push. Mm-hmm. But I also totally get why her personality is so big. It's hard to say she shouldn't be in the main event, right? She's just such a presence. I think her being a tag champion with an Ember Moon and having a long run would be great for Shotzi. It could make Shotzi. Mm-hmm. If she's got someone like an Ember to work with and coach with, and end up teaming up with all these other teams that are up and coming and otherwise, like, this could be the perfect tool to sharpen up Shotzi in a way that keeps her out of the singles picture until they're ready to slingshot her through it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, no. I agree with you 100%. And I thought I saw a little bit of that because they had a lot of cohesion, obviously with
Yeah.
costume and whatnot yesterday. And yeah, I really think that that's going to be a good thing, because the only other tag team for the women right now that I would really say, okay, eventually they should get it, but obviously, is Caden and Casey. But Casey's injured, so or I don't know if that's fake or real or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I definitely think that Shotzi, needs that time to develop, because I always say you got to remember she learned her wrestling school was Hood Slam Stoner University. So think of that what you will, but if anyone's ever seen Hood Slam, that whoa, okay, that's a little weird. And she was one of the few females, maybe at first the only one, I could be wrong, that was in that school and was learning.
That wouldn't shock me.
So-
I don't think she'd be the least bit afraid of any of that stuff. And I think that she's
No.
got everything it would take to be everything that you got to be.
Yeah.
I do want to say real quick, because Splinter Fox happens to be in the chat, and he's my resident nemesis. I'm just kidding. I do want to know, and I won't get into it, Splinter Fox. I know how you are, and I know that you come in late to avoid what we say about AEW. And clearly you knew that we were going to have a lot to say this week about AEW. All I want to know was, do you feel like you got your $50 worth from AEW Revolution? Yeah. And did you giggle at the end like the rest of us? I'm not going to get into a fight with you. I'll leave it at that. Do you feel like you got your money's worth? That's all I want to know.
Good questions. And while we're waiting for his answer, my feeling on the takeover 2 nights. You know what I got out of that? What excited me was, one, it's free. I'm not being cheap, but why it's free. One night it's going to be on USA on Tuesday night.
Yep.
And Wednesday it's on Peacock. And I'm pretty sure NBC Universal is giving them a lot of money for that, because Takeover, I always think that the Takeover, well, I'll say I'll hear, because if I say, I honestly haven't seen a Mania Takeover. I'll say that. But the buzz you hear about the Mania ones in particular, this is really going to be exciting. But for me, I got more of it out of, yeah, you know what? That's not a rumor, because USA, it's on Tuesday. And then it's on Wednesday on the Peacock. So it's getting people used to both. And that's huge. I'm waiting for Tony to have Shots Fired, and Dark will be live or some crap. I don't know. Remains to be seen. Okay. But I'm pretty sure that that's going to happen. But but yeah, I mean, that's
a couple things in the chat.
That's what I get out of it. And I have to be right back. I'll be right back. Give me a moment.
Right. Do you have like Bluetooth? So will you hear me if I talk to you or no? She's already gone. She's back? Oh. She said she'll be back. Let's see. So in the chat, Splinter Fox says Bailey and Belair. That would be a perfect how they don't like each other. They respect each other and become champions together. I could see that. You could pair them up just to get the NXT titles on them for a little bit. And then he says, wait, so Kai and Gonzalez were crown tag champions, then lost them? That was dumb. Yeah, we talked about that right away, too. Like, they gave the titles to Dakota and Gonzalez. They didn't have to win the match to get them. And then they lost them the same night. So it was really kind of a bummer, because it felt like a consolation of, we'll make you the first ever tag champions, but we don't really want you to be our tag champions. And I felt really weird, because I also feel like that because they're already the first ever Dusty Cup winners, they're already in the history books as a tremendous tag team. They won that whole thing. And then they can say they got screwed out of the titles, and that's fine. There's no harm, no foul. They could easily have just also had a match between Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez against Shotzi and Ember and crowned Shotzi and Ember first ever. I don't see why it had to be an issue, but apparently it was. So, Grim Reaper brings up NXT is Wednesday, Thursday. Hall of Fame is Tuesday. That's good to know, dude. There's someone posted a schedule of everything that's going to be happening that weekend. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick, because I was amazed at what is in store. And here it is. Here it is. Where the hell did it go? Oh, man. It was like you have something almost every day. What the hell? I can't find it. But yeah, that weekend they have everything. It's like Monday, Tuesday. It's like 2 weeks straight almost of stuff. Amanda?
Yep.
NXT's gonna be Wednesday, Thursday. Hall of Fame's on Tuesday. You were wrong, and Grim Reaper called you names.
Oh. Hey, my
That's how Grim
excuses.
is, man.
Hey, WWE ain't my bag, bro.
Yeah.
In my bag, bro. I mean,
Yeah, man,
for
doing the best
real,
I
I'm
can.
I'm just trying here. Don't shoot the messenger. But I thought it was Tuesday and Wednesday, but I could be wrong. So I guess my excitement when I saw that my mom was playing tricks on me.
Let's see. So it does bring us over to the NXT Women's Championship match: Io Shirai versus Toni Storm.
Oh man.
What'd you think?
God, I love both of those women. Oh my God. I mean, it's hard to say like the wrong person won. I mean, yes, I would have loved Toni to have won, but I mean, that was just Toni will get her time, but that was just, oh my God, amazing. I mean, I don't know. Those two women, I mean, that Jesus, I think that's like main roster kind of caliber.
Yeah, I don't know why Tony's still in NXT.
I know. I don't understand. Well, I don't understand why either of them are still in NXT, but you know,
I get why Io is, because Io's there as the tent pole, the way that Asuka was for a long time. So I get why they have Io. She's your champion, and you're having everyone have to work themselves up to her level, and I get that.
Yeah,
that makes sense from that regard. However, I agree with. I wouldn't be shocked or upset at all if Io showed up on the main roster. You know, she deserves to be making the big money.
Yeah. But
I also don't understand when Toni appeared on NXT. My first thought was, really? Why not SmackDown or Raw? Let's see. I'm gonna hit the chat real quick because Splinter Fox looks like he's saying some stuff. Splinter Fox says Kai and Gonzalez are getting the short end of the stick. I don't agree with that at all. They kill Ember and Blackheart. They should have not got a title shot right away. Poor Kai and Gonzalez. They seem to be getting the Rhea treatment. Kind of. Like I said, I would have been happy if they just did a one-on-one match and for whatever reason, Shotzi and Ember win the match and let that be that. Let them just be the first ever. Let's see. Speaking of which, has she finally debuted on Raw? I'm not watching WWE anymore. And no, she hasn't. They have the video packages, so it keeps says coming soon. We'll see. Let's see. And then Splinter Fox says, I'm not saying nothing. So he's not going to tell us if he got his money's worth. He said, I'm a diehard fan of AEW. I don't watch NXT no more. So like I said before, I will, and we'll say it again. I fully support AEW. I want them to bring it because competition, bring the best out of everybody. But that's just it. I just wish that it did bring the best out of everybody. And right now I'm not seeing it do that. But I agree. I also want AEW to succeed because I think that that's best for the talent to be able to use to use that to do the best for them, to be honest. And then he says, I come here to see what's happening with WWE. That's cool. Yeah. Well, we're breaking it down.
Yeah. I really can't help you with WWE. I can help you with NXT. Can't really help you with WWE. So sorry.
But yeah, Io and Toni, I loved it. I like Toni's new gear, the stripes, the pants.
Oh, that was great. Neat. I loved it.
I've been liking her two-tone thing she's been doing. She's been doing kind of a lot of black and white and checkered kind of looks and stuff. So I've been digging that. So the fact that the pants finally did that too. Seemed a little bit. Well, and maybe my whole thing is I'm a ref, so I like black and white stripes.
But
I might be partial.
Pirates, well, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not everyone has to be, like purple and
yeah, ref
yellow.
Chic, I call it.
Yeah.
Let's see, Pete Dunne. Oh, he defeated Jake Atlas.
Yeah. Okay. This one, because I love Jake. Okay, I miss Jake on the Indies. Shout out to Jake. I miss him so much. Such a really good guy. This match to me was I was like, what? Huh? Because Pete Dunne is such a style that I've never seen Jake Atlas wrestle anyone with this kind of style that Pete Dunne has.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, how's it going to work with Atlas? Because Atlas is so acrobatic, and the way his moves flow, there's like a really nice, there's a nice rhythm and flow that go along with Jake Atlas. And I thought, man, you're going up against Dunn, you're going to get like, that's going to disturb that. But I was pleasantly surprised. Of course, obviously, since, I love Jake, I was like, oh, but I thought it was a really, really good match. It was, for at least Jake, it was great to be exposed to someone who does something so different. And he held his own with it.
Yeah. I thought it was, and especially we haven't seen Jake in a while.
Yeah.
I feel like we haven't seen him in a bit, so I thought this was kind of a weird place to put him. I felt like, well, he's definitely going to lose to Pete Dunne, but let's see what he does to get there. And they worked really well together.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. And it made Pete Dunne look like a star, and that's really what you got to do sometimes, right? And Just in Time said he's super excited to see who steps up to Pete Dunne's challenge. And Pete Dunne did that, right? He challenged anybody to step up.
Yep.
I mean, it's weird in that, like, I think that's good and all, because there has to be something between the world title and other people, but, like, doesn't it kind of shouldn't the North American title be that title that you step up and prove yourself against, as opposed to just this dude who recently lost to the world champion? You know what I mean? Like, it's a little weird.
Yeah.
In that regard, it's a little weird, but in like what Justin's saying, I think at this point I can't get enough Pete Dunne matches, I've discovered. So I don't know that there's anyone who can step up that I'm going to be upset about.
No.
We had that video package with Imperium trying to talk to Timothy Thatcher and told him to dump Ciampa effectively.
No, I don't like that narrative with it. But I do kind of like, and I actually have to look this up. Sorry, we don't have Clump here because I sometimes don't multitask very well. But I was thinking, I would love to, have they done Ciampa and Walter?
Ciampa and Walter, I don't think so. They should.
Okay. That's what I'm saying, is they should. And I don't even think it was on the indies either. And unless Ciampa was on that 116 carat, like one of what before he went to WWE. But that needs to happen. And if you're like thinking, oh, what's Ciampa do next? That's what you do next, is that. Because I think that the style over there, it's giving him something other to do. If you're going to make him a 6-year senior, that's the way you go, I think. And honestly, like with Tim, I mean, Tim is Tim. I like it where Ciampa was like, oh yeah, you're toothless Tim, and I'm, whatever it was. I just had to laugh when he was said toothless. But I just think that, either way, there's a big win to having him with Imperium. But honestly, I feel that I think that the WWE people need to really be more, I guess, educated and see more of that catch style wrestling, because you don't get that. And I know the people are like, oh, that's boring or whatever, and I'm sure Vince is probably like, oh, that that doesn't sell tickets. But you know what? Honestly, like, that's the style that's everything is seeping into. So you have to be, on trend. And if he doesn't want to be on trend with it, then whatever. So, but I think that,
you don't see anything even remotely close to catch wrestling on AEW. So I don't know if I'd say it's the trend, but I would say that Finn Balor's doing a lot. All of Finn Balor's matches, Daniel Bryan, obviously, Drew Gulak, I'd even say Cesaro's getting pretty close to just straight up catch.
Yeah.
Thatcher, obviously, and Ciampa. So I think that it's in there, and I think that they do what they can with it, but I do think that you're right. I don't think that they see it on the main event scene necessarily. Well, except for Finn Balor.
Yeah.
Which Finn Balor made the statement specifically on After the Bell. He said he decided to do a lot more mat work and keep it in the ring, not go outside, not do any dives, and do all of it in ring and on the mat as much as possible to stand out. Because he said he's like, it doesn't matter who you watch or when, they're jumping out of the ring and they're flying around. He goes, I wanted to stand out, make a difference, and so he decided to keep the match in the ring. And I was like, that's fucking funny and awesome.
And it lengthens your career because the flippy floppy guys aren't. They're not having very long careers. And injury too. They got to think of that.
Oh yeah, but he broke his jaw.
Well, that's different, though. How many times do people break their jaws in wrestling?
All the time. Drew McIntyre broke his jaw like twice this year.
Well, Drew McIntyre is whatever. I don't know.
He fake broke his jaw.
Wow. Yeah, he has a fake sword. So I don't know.
It's a damn sword.
Yeah, but I mean, it makes sense to me. It makes sense. Like, it's really interesting because another catch wrestler, this is just off the subject real quick, Zack Sabre Jr. has gotten more into, instead of being pure, this is mat work, he's throwing a couple of things in there, some really like devastating kicks and whatnot. So, and there was a move he did recently that he went on a rope. I'm like, excuse me, what is this? I didn't know he knew how to climb up a rope up in the turnbuckle area. I was like, wow, what the hell? So I'm like, what are they feeding you in Japan, buddy? So yeah, I mean, everyone, adapts something with it. But, knowing that kind of style, I mean, it works well because look at New Japan, strong style, Japanese strong style. It goes great with that. So,
I agree.
I'm sure Shinsuke, that'd be great to see, because I'm sure he's not really getting much of that at all, if anything at all.
Yeah, that's true. I will say real quick, in defense of Splinter Fox, he did say, I'm just saying I'm invested with WWE. The storylines are bringing me in. He says, Sky's becoming a heel. I love it. Ethan Page coming in. Inner Circle turning face. Great time to be watching. Bash it all you want. These stories seem real. And, seem far from real, especially with Inner Circle. But as long as you can get invested in it, that's all that matters. He goes, bash it all you want. These storylines seem real. And you know what is for the pay-per-view? He goes, I was truly happy. Mox and Omega put their bodies on the line, and the match was perfect. The whole pay-per-view was amazing. And Maki Ito is amazing.
Yeah. She was amazing on Dynamite. They started fighting, and there she was in the background singing her little song and dancing. And I'm like, you bitch, you're fucking amazing. Okay? You're my spirit animal, and she needs to be protected at all costs. That was all. Keep going with the show. So,
just keep it going.
Hats off to her. I did forget something, since you mentioned about, like, with Finn and, working outside the ring.
Yeah.
Did you catch, I know someone made a gif of it. Did you see during Darby and Scorpio Sky, did you see that Tope Suicida that Scorpio Sky basically caught him and did a cutter?
Yeah, that was slick.
That was very slick. I was like, whoa. I forgot all about that until just now with thinking of that. But yeah.
It wasn't perfect because of the space limitations, because the guardrail kind of got in the way, but it was nice.
Yeah.
It was as nice as it possibly could be.
Yeah, considering all the factors. Yeah. But I was just like, whoa, you never see that at all.
Yeah. I had to watch it twice because the first time I was all like, wait, what? They just crumbled into each other. And because of the barricade was in the way. But when I resaw it, I totally saw that it was the cutter. And I was like, okay, that's slick.
Yeah. I was like,
well done, Scorpio.
Yes. So that's where I'm like, yep, dude, that's some good stuff. And if people say that's an indie thing, no one's doing that on the indies. No one was doing that on the indies. That's some pretty badass shit. I think more people are probably going to do it now.
Spinner Fox is happy that Bobby Lashley is the champion. Me too. I want him to hold that for so long. Honestly, I want him to just destroy Drew McIntyre and send him back to NXT or something.
Yeah.
Let's see, Caden Carter and with Casey in the corner versus Xia Li. Did you get to see this, or was it cut out of your version?
No, I actually saw the whole thing.
Okay, good. Mm-hmm. I'm really interested in this. So Casey's ringside. I think the injuries. I think a kayfabe injury.
Yeah.
Because I think that you couldn't be ringside or get involved if it was truly an injury. But it's got me really interested in it, because now if Casey and Caden are going to start using weapons and numbers advantages, Xia Li either ends up beating both of them in a handicap match and making Xia Li look incredible but doing some damage to Casey and Caden, or Xia Li is going to need a friend. Do you think... How do you pronounce the name of her mentor? Zan Zoo or something? Zanzi?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
Asian. I'm gonna slaughter it. I'm not Chinese, so I don't know. But yeah, I think
gotcha.
that's right.
Yeah. However, I'm so bad at it because I see it spelled one way, but I hear it pronounced another way, and it's just got my head turning.
Yeah,
But,
they do that.
however, yeah. Tian Shaw. Tian
There's a
Shaw?
way they say it, but I'm like, I don't.
I feel like the way they say it's different than the way it looks. So I just feel
Yeah.
bad. I don't want to mess it up. But do you
Yeah,
think
in particular,
the two of
when
them
Beth
team
said-
together? Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, and I want to say that that's a huge possibility, but it all really depends on who's underneath that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grim Reaper saying he wants Io versus Zia.
Yeah.
Zaya at Takeover. I'm 100%
Yeah.
for that.
That would be
And he goes
big.
and have Zaya go over. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Spinner Fox saying Makaito dodged Sheeta's attack and hit her with the microphone. He loved that. He thought you would like it.
Oh yeah, that was great. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think that you get. I think you end up with Xia Li and her mentor taking on Casey and Kate, and I'm really interested in that because obviously
Yeah.
her mentor we've seen only in really cryptic, crazy ways.
Yeah.
I can only imagine what we end up actually getting on the other side of that,
Oh yeah, that
especially
that's
because of
why,
how little we know.
Yeah, that's why it's going to be interesting who it is under there, because you're like, whoa, what is this person going to do?
That's true.
Yeah, and it's really I mean, I know they don't do intergender, but I mean the one dude, I'm like, I don't get your place. Was it whatever? I almost called him Boba because I'm thinking of bubble tea. But
Oh, Boa, yeah.
Boa, sorry, but Boba, whatever, that sounds the same. Yeah, I was like, God, you look really weak in there, dude. Those girls showed
Justin
you.
Time says he thinks that she might be Karen Q.
I forgot that Karen Q was still on the NXT roster. Very good call.
Yeah.
Very good call. Very good call.
Now here's the thing, though. As we talk about it, I'm gonna look up Karen Q. Oh shit! I forgot about Karen Q. She is over there, and they are friends. I just pulled up a picture and saw who she is, and she's a badass.
Oh yeah, Karen Q's a badass. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and
But I
she's
hope
been
you're not
having
saying
that
it
fucking
because she's-
ankle injury.
Yeah, that's right. She's been out for a while. But yeah,
That could be killer.
Oh yeah, she's good.
She's badass.
Yeah,
Okay,
she is
well,
badass.
that's
I like her.
Just in time, shaking up ground. You heard it here first from me, breaking it, wrestling journalist, live from
Yep.
Justin, who says he's definitely 100% sure,
Yeah.
regardless of what his chat says, where he says he's not 100% sure.
And
However,
Uncle Dave gets 6 stars.
yeah, Dave will give it 6 stars. Here's the thing. Up until that Karen Q comment, I was kind of on board here with Splinter Fox, and now I'm 50-50. Splinter Fox says that Tian Shaw should never wrestle. It could be a big letdown. And I was agreeing with that. That's where my gut felt. Because of the idea, he says it could be a letdown. And because I don't know who it is, I keep thinking, like, yeah, it could easily be a problem. But I'll be honest, if it's Karen Q, I'm a little more excited at the idea of potentially getting her in the ring. Even if she is in this creepy way.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Now I'm split. Before I felt strongly in agreement with Splinter Fox. Especially if she's injury prone. She got one injury. I don't know if that makes her injury
come
prone.
on, people.
Come on, it's just one. Relax.
Yeah. You know who's
Relax,
injury
everybody.
prone? Hiromu Takahashi. There you go.
Oh my god. Oh shit.
Oh,
Can't
that's
believe you said
LIJ, New Japan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Major injury.
But Ocean says that could kill the storyline. I don't think it could, actually. I think, actually, if you have somebody who's injury prone and you have them being a creepy, brooding presence who sits up at the top all the time, covered in drapes and stuff, you could milk an injury forever.
Oh, yeah.
You could absolutely have her get in that match. She could definitely break her ankle again, and then have her back at the top of the ramp again every week for months. I think it actually works perfect if the person's injury prone.
And to be honest, like you and I totally forgot about Karen Q. And I'm sure if we forgot about it, I'm sure a lot of people have forgotten about it.
Yeah.
And, so that's where it's like, okay, that's a really great thing to do because, they haven't mentioned her coming back or anything like that. They probably won't, but it'll be very interesting to see. And it'll be interesting to see when they reveal this. I'm hoping maybe Takeover, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because that's not too far away.
Cool. Now Splinter Fox says Fist of All Dragon Lee fucking up an injured Hiro Takahashi would have never been injured if that happened.
Okay, yeah, I was there for one of them, and let me tell you, I thought he was dead. No, don't laugh. It's serious. I'm serious. I was in the front row. I was at the Cow Palace.
Jesus.
I thought he was dead. Seriously.
You were
Dragon
freaking
Lee.
out?
Yeah, I was freaking out because he wasn't moving. I'm like, oh my God, is he dead? And I asked my friend Ben next to me, and Ben was like, holy shit, I think he might be. And then we saw his foot move. We're like, oh, phew. Because I'm like, I don't go to wrestling to watch people die. Okay, even though, yes, I've told Darby Allin, sometimes I can't watch him live because I'm worried he's going to die. And he goes, well, we all got to die sometime. And I was like, oh, that's really morbid.
Yeah, damn it.
Yeah, as I buy a coffin necklace from him with a skeleton in it, that was one of his old merch.
Yeah, I'll take
anyway,
one of
but
these.
Yeah, no.
Also, stop talking that crazy talk.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. Injuries are hard when
so-
you see them live. They're hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. And especially when you see like how, the move was that caused it, you're like wow. Because it was like pretty much, I want to say that was like about maybe 18 feet away from where I was sitting.
Well, I mean, sometimes it's not the move that you would think. Like Ridge Holland, his knees buckled and they both just tore to shreds on that weird crossbody for Oni Lorcan. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, what? That was barely a move. Just in time in there does say, I mean, they did base this faction off of Chinese wrestlers, and Karen Q is Chinese, so it would make sense in that regard. And Splinter Fox says, Darby and Cody are on my list of people that I cheer for the other person that wrestles them. That's funny.
Yeah.
I just want to see more damage.
Just because it's Asian people, don't gotta be Asian people. Just saying.
It doesn't have to be, but it does feel like a theme. In this
Well,
one.
yeah, but then again, Vince probably calls us Orientals still, so it's okay, I guess. Not for me, but I mean.
Well, I don't know Vince that well. Let's see. Well, there's only 2 other matches on the card. Now I'm really interested in the Xia Li story. Where before I was kind of like, okay, I guess we'll see. And now because of Splinter Fox and Justin, I'm like freaking out. Xia Li. Let's see. We had Grizzled Young Veterans against Legado del Fantasma. Let's see. Fantasma won. And, there was that bit with MSK and Breezango. What'd you think of all that?
Oh, that was great. Well, I didn't know that Breezango had come out before as astronauts, so.
That's when they got jumped, I think.
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember. Well, that could have been before my time. But.
It was probably cut. I think it was cut from one of the ones that you were watching.
Oh, okay. When was this? A couple weeks ago?
Yeah, it was like 2 weeks ago. Fantasma came out and did cut a promo, but before they did, Breezango was on their way out against Everrise. They were wearing spacesuits and got jumped by Phantasmo.
Oh, okay. But I was like, at first when they came out, I'm like, God damn, Wesley is underneath there. And I said, the way the other one's moving, I go, damn it, that's Nash Carter. I know that's Nash Carter. Sure enough, there it was. And I just thought it was great. I was like, damn it, because I could tell how I was like, oh, but this is great. Because I thought that was kind of cute. And it was cute that Breezango came out too. That was kind of nice. I always feel like when I see Fandango, I'm like, damn, dude, you're just getting, he's one of those ones that's been around forever. And I'm like, dude, you're getting really old and you haven't had anything big and great really happen. I feel for him.
Yeah. Because they're also both great in the ring. But the thing is I can't stand their gimmicks on any level. I see them in interviews and backstage stuff, and I go, oh, they're pretty cool dudes.
Yeah.
But there's literally from the second their music starts to the second the bell rings, I just couldn't care less, just because their gimmick pulls me out of it so far. With that in mind, when MSK started coming out, I completely tuned out and stopped paying attention because I thought it was Breezango. But then it was MSK, and that's all fine. And again, I think that's probably something that MSK had a lot of fun doing, because I also understand that inside the business, a lot of people, for every good reason, have a ton of respect for Breezango. So I'm sure they're having a blast.
Oh yeah, I think everybody, because at least, well, a lot of people, all those guys, I think all know. I'll call him by his real name. They all know Fandango from years and years and years. Because again, like Sean Spears, like like grinding like in the indies and things like that. And I think that that's where people, a lot of these guys all know him and got a lot of respect. There's a lot of guys that are like that. But then there's some that are like, no. But again, you don't always have to like who you work with, but you got to at least respect them. Yeah. So, because there's very few good ones out there.
Yeah, I do feel like MSK want to have a match with Breezango just for their own personal.
Oh, they're gonna,
enjoyment.
and it's gonna be fun. That's the one thing. That's the one thing about MSK is they can have fun and do matches that aren't that serious, or you can get what you got, during the final against Grizzly.
Yeah, but I think that they can also get away with both at the same time, right? Because the other thing about Breezango is they get pretty serious in there. I feel like if Breezango and MSK had a match, I feel like Nash Carter would be smiling for 3.5 weeks.
Yeah, so would Wesley too, because they like that good shit. I mean, I've seen them do some goofy shit, and it's always really fun because they really, I think, and this is why I think that they do very well with the men's division with people who actually tag. They're an actual tag team, is because of that chemistry they have. And I think also when you're one of these teams that are a regular tag team, I think that there's this, I don't know if it's this like camaraderie or some kind of like respect that they both have. So I think that usually, they always, when they're working out the match, they're going to want to, everyone's going to shine, in their own way. Yeah. And I think that that's a great thing, because then you're getting good wrestling out of it. Really good wrestling out of it. So
for sure. Just in time says Jordan Devlin laying out the challenge to Santos Escobar to see who the true cruiserweight champion is was really good, because I think these two could have an awesome match. I think so too. I also think I haven't seen Devlin in so long that I'm kind of like in a weird spot with it, where I'm all like, yes, I want to see this ? It seems cool, and I like the idea of it. And if you're going to have 2 nights to TakeOver, there's no reason why you shouldn't have an undisputed cruiserweight champion by the end of it.
I thought they're wrestling next week. Yeah, they're wrestling next week.
Maybe I wasn't paying attention.
No, yeah, because they made a big thing of.
I thought it was for TakeOver.
No, because his speech was like, he was at the airport, and he was like.
I know, but I thought his whole speech was about how, hey, you guys are doing TakeOver, and I'm going to be there for it. Maybe I missed it.
I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe either way, there is going to be a big match between the two of them sooner or later. And I think it's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be a great match.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I like the idea of doing an undisputed cruiserweight champion, because I do know there's a few people I talked to who are in Europe, and they have mentioned a few times about how Devlin's the true cruiserweight champion anytime I bring up Santos Escobar. So
yeah,
I like the idea of it. I think it's an easy story to tell that ends up in a great match.
Yeah, I if you were to ask me who I thought was with it, I kind of probably would say, it's a real toss-up. And it's really, I think, based on like what kind of style you prefer. What's your cup of tea? Yeah. Because I don't have a clear favorite of either, because I think they're both good. But
right, that's
if you were to say
problem.
that, if you were to say that, I'd give you a different name, who I think, would eclipse those two. But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe that's my problem too, is I don't have like a clear favorite for me who I want to win. Last I saw, they're both heels too, so I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah.
Let's see. Splinter Fox does say shout outs to Flatbacks. wrestling with Sean Spears in the new stable with MJF, FTR, and Wardlow. He goes, this is going to be Sean Spears' time. I disagree. It is never Sean Spears' time. He will forever be overshadowed by everyone, including his manager. Fuck that guy. Fabtina said, what? No, Sean Spears and me have heat.
I know you guys
Fuck
do.
that.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Well, I shouldn't give you shit because you don't give me shit about Sammy Guevara. So
That's true. Fabtina says, loving Zoe Stark's promo. Yeah, she had a whole fucking package there, yeah?
Mhm.
What'd you think of
I
that?
thought it was great. That was really great. And also her positioning when they did the when Regal came out and announced those belts too, because she was right in the front, right up front. And we're like, oh, you haven't faced me, you haven't beaten me, because when Raquel and we beat you and we beat you, yeah. So I thought that was good, and also to have that moment after to do that promo, I thought that was great.
Yeah.
I caught that.
No, fantastic.
Yeah, I was like,
She could be fast tracked, I think. She's also got the skill
Yeah.
for it too.
I think so.
Spin Fox says, wait, Finn is going back and forth from Ireland. What's stopping Devlin? I don't know that Finn is going back and forth, but if he is, I don't know.
I don't.
He speculates visa issues. He did say something like, I'm finally allowed back. So it did feel like there was something. I don't think it was just backstage stuff. It could have been visa or travel restrictions of some kind. I don't know that had to do necessarily with Ireland, but it did seem specific to Devlin just based off what he was saying. But yeah, I don't know the details on that, but I did find that a little curious too, the way he said it. I was like, wait, you doing that thing? Because remember, there's that other guy on the Indies who was like banned from traveling to the U.S. for like 5 years or some shit. Did you see
Seaball,
that?
Mike Bailey.
Yeah.
Everyone was.
What made that guy
thinking he was
banned?
gonna be the letter. He's Canadian. So again, he'll probably end up in at AEW probably.
Yeah, it's
And-
made in Canada.
Yeah, and I think he was coming in like they're really tough when you go do that border, and if you lie to them,
Oh.
and this was like back in the day, they're not too friendly on that. So he's been in Japan and in the UK, and I would love for him to come back because again, he's dating Veda Scott, and I loved Veda on commentary, and I'd love to have her back at AEW. So.
Oh yeah. I remember that. She did good there.
Yeah, she was really good.
Yeah. Huh.
She
okay.
kept Excalibur in
So-
line actually, which was nice.
I like JR's method of punching Excalibur.
Well, JR is,
He just yells at him.
just yells at him. I swear to God. I mean, if he had a bottle of his barbecue sauce, he'd probably hit him over the head with it.
Yeah, he just swats him with one of those grilling spatulas. Just
Oh,
shut up.
I feel for whoever. Oh, Shivani just needs to change seats. He can't sit there then. He needs to change seats. Yeah.
No, he's in
gonna
between
get
them
it.
on purpose.
think-
Let's see. Yeah, so that'd be interesting. So I think in that regard, I think there's a lot of reasons why a particular person can't travel sometimes, but it does seem like whatever that was is up with Devlin, which is also weird though because that happened around the same time COVID started, right? At first he was stripped of the title because of COVID specifically. So I don't know. Yeah, his case seems particular and bizarre. And Spin Fox says this is why he doesn't talk about AEW anymore. He's going to stop. Dude, it's just Sean Spears. I hate that guy. One day we will fist fight, and I will lose to him because I probably can't beat him in a fist fight, but it will happen, and you'll be the one wrestler who I fist fight with.
If you crop dust him,
Interesting.
I'll have to blind him with a fart first to get my advantage. I will throw a fart in his eyes to get an advantage. That's how
Lord.
I'll do it.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
shout out to my other local promotion, AEW, because they brought him back like a couple of times, like I think 2 or 3 at least.
Yeah.
You would have been
Comeback
all,
king.
oh, why is he here? This fucking sucks. Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, he's a comeback
Yeah,
king.
you would-
He's got more comeback shirts than P Diddy.
Really?
Let's see. Yeah. Dude, every 2 months, I'm coming back. I'm leaving. I'm coming back. He's fucking pouty. Amanda, Finn Balor versus Adam Cole. What'd you think of this match?
bye-bye.
Well, it had to be done.
They
I
had to do
enjoy
it.
Yeah, well, it had to be done. I Adam Cole to me, I don't know how to really explain this, but there's something about Adam Cole when he wrestles. There's something that bothers me, and I don't exactly know what it is.
Yep.
You know, I don't know.
Yep.
But I've never thought he was that great. It's more of his persona that makes him good. There are a lot of people like that, but like his wrestling, I'm like, you know. But then anytime I get to watch, you know, Balor, I'm like, ooh. But yeah, it was, you know, had to be done, and you know, I wouldn't say that was for me. That really wasn't the. Well, I wouldn't think that would be the matches. Well, yeah, all the matches were good, but I mean, to me, it was like, okay. So then it just begs the question of what's next.
Yeah, I felt like they had to get that out of their system, and I'm glad they did too, because ultimately that's how I felt about it. I'm not into Adam Cole almost on any level, so yeah, I was very disinterested in it even as it went. But what most people are talking about anyways is the aftermatch. Kyle O'Reilly shows up, he beats the shit out of Adam Cole for a bit, and then at the very end, Finn Balor standing in the ring, he looks over his shoulders and he goes, "Well, what took you so long?" And it's Karrion Kross. So now it's Finn Balor carrying Kross face to face, and he's like TikTok, and Balor's like, "Fuck you, dude," and
that better be freaking Takeover.
Oh yeah, they'll definitely wait till Takeover. But who do you have win on one like that?
Huh? Well,
Spinner Fox says Kyle versus Cole to send off Cole going to Raw or SmackDown. The thing is like I hear that, but at the same time, I think Kyle O'Reilly would do better on the main roster than Adam Cole. I've thought of Adam Cole like a Gargano or a Ciampa for a long time. Like, he's just here now. I don't see where he fits in the main roster in my mind. I see where Karrion Kross does for sure. And Kyle O'Reilly, I could see him being up there. But I don't really see a spot for Adam Cole the same way.
No. I mean, I think Adam Cole's better in like some kind of little faction or whatnot. Because look at him when he was in Bullet Club. And a lot of the things that he did at ROH. You know, he was always partnered with somebody in some group. So I think that, you know, if he doesn't have someone, he's just there's nothing for him. Because if you were to say, oh, okay, let's, you know, him or Ricochet, who would you rather see? I'd rather see Ricochet.
Yeah, Ricochet,
yeah. If you're like, oh, who's talking on the mic? Not Ricochet, let Adam Cole do it. Yeah. You know, but I don't know. I don't think there's anything for him.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see. I know a lot of people keep talking about Cole on the main roster. I just don't see how he fits, especially because, like, as much as we say times have changed and Daniel Bryan shows that the small guy can do it, and you got Rey Mysterio and Finn Balor, Adam Cole next to those guys looks small. He looks small next to Finn Balor. He looks small next to Rey Mysterio. He looks small next to Daniel Bryan. I don't see how you put Adam Cole in a match against anybody on Raw or SmackDown. He's going to look tiny next to a Jey Uso. Like, it just seems weird to me. Like, and I just don't know. And maybe the matches will speak for themselves. Maybe they'll just work. Let's see. Fab Tina says, I would have made Tony main event or Dakota with the tag titles. Yeah, those matches definitely up there as far as, like, potential match of the night. Spin Fox says, Finn and Cross could both get hurt in that match. It's funny. Probably they'll just both crumble. You ever seen those, like, those little desktop things where it's like a skeleton and you push the button on the bottom and it just, like, falls over? Could easily be that match. Let's see. Spinfox says Vince left Cole during the whole NXT Survivor Series invasion when was wrestling on the top brand. When he was wrestling on the top brand versus Bryan. Yeah, I mean, I think that's possible, but I also find it weird. I mean, I've watched that match a couple times just to see what people are trying to talk about, and I really felt like Daniel Bryan was amazing in that match, and Adam Cole was doing more Adam Cole stuff, and I felt like Adam Cole looked like a tiny, tiny person next to Daniel Bryan. So I don't know, man. I just don't know. If they do it, I'd be interested to see how they do it. I haven't cared about a single Adam Cole match yet, and this one wasn't even an exception to that. And I fucking love Finn Balor, and I felt like you get the taste out of your mouth. Just it had to be done. You had to do it. Just get it done.
Move on.
At least it wasn't the main event of a takeover. You know, I'm glad we got this and we can move on because a lot of people have been saying it since Finn got there. Can you imagine Finn Balor versus Adam Cole? Well, here you go.
There you go.
Can we please move on now? Like, yeah, I agree. I don't know. So we'll see. I mean, Splinter Fox, who do you want to see Adam Cole go up against in the main roster? Because in my mind, I don't have anybody.
There's nobody. Not to be rude to Adam Cole, but I no. There's more
Adam
people.
Cole a lot on like PWG and stuff. Did you see him against like Ricochet? Were those matches good?
No, because with the time when Adam Cole was there, it was very hard to get tickets to Reseda. So I'm trying to think. Was he at Nice Boys? No. Oh, no, because he had already gone. Like when I started going really regularly, because I found the secret to getting PWG tickets. So he was already had been gone, but I've seen some of the matches. I mean, I've seen more of him in Ring of Honor of anything, but yeah, with PWG, I mean, again, he had some good matches, like, you know, as a trios with the Bucks or with Kevin Owens, and I mean,
in tags.
Yeah. So again, he's with somebody. Him as a standalone, not so much.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Maybe this is how we get Cole on the main roster. I'd like to think this is. He wants to see KO. Actually, KO and Adam Cole have a lot of history. They could probably do something crazy.
That would be good.
That could be good.
But I
nailed it on that one.
Yeah, but I think that Adam Cole, to be quite honest, his kind of wrestling is better suited for AEW. Yeah, I know. I'm just saying it, but I think it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are people.
I think he's absolutely perfect for NXT. I don't know about seeing him on the main roster. Maybe it's just because haven't been invested in that way. But yeah, I mean, he says Seth and AJ as matches. Anyone from ROH, Ziggler, maybe. I'd like to see Adam Cole against probably Otis or Braun Strowman.
Oh God, he's gonna look like a midget. It's gonna be like Hornswoggle wrestling Khali. You kidding me?
He could go up against Bobby Lashley, get that title shot he said he's wanted for a long time. Just in time, Adam Cole versus Samoa Joe. He says Adam Cole versus Edge. That could be good.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Edge will look like a fucking giant.
Yeah. I look like a giant.
Yeah. Kofi could be good. Splinter Fox says. I could see that.
Yeah, he's smaller.
Yeah.
I mean,
the funny thing about saying Samoa Joe and Adam Cole is that Samoa Joe and AJ Styles was a huge size difference, and that was still super compelling and believable the whole time.
Oh, yeah, it was so good.
Samoa Joe's so good. I don't know that he can make you not care. Like, I don't know that that's in him. I don't know.
Yeah, Samoa Joe's one of those few people that can you say that he's ever had a bad match?
Yeah, it's true.
Can't think of when.
He wants to see Adam Cole against Shelton Benjamin and Randy Orton.
Oh.
He's going to make Shelton Benjamin look like Bobby Lashley.
Yeah. And Randy Orton's thighs are probably bigger than Adam Cole. Let's go there.
I would love the story of it, though, because of all the Twitter heat that Randy Orton's gotten here and there with the whole, like, talking shit and leg slap stuff. I would love those promos. Adam Cole and Randy Orton promos would be fucking cool. That'd be cool. Well, I don't know. I'm actually super interested, though, to see where they go with Karrion Kross and Finn Balor. What do you think? Do you think this is where... Because here's my thought. I'm not saying Balor should win, but I also don't know why Karrion Kross is in NXT. To me, he feels like such a bigger star than NXT.
Yeah.
I don't know why he's not on Raw or SmackDown. I
know. I mean, that shocks me, to be perfectly honest. But I think that's going to be your one of your nights of takeover. That's your main event. And they're doing it in the stadium, right?
I don't know. I think so.
Or are they doing it inside?
I think it's the stadium.
Well, if they're doing it in the stadium, just think of it this way, because this is what I thought and why I also got excited. is that's going to be they don't have time to build and unbuild that whole set. So you're going to see WrestleMania type of entrances at TakeOver, and to be in to see what Cross could do. Oh God, I'm like, that was the first person I'm like, I wonder what his entrance is going to be. Oh my God, Xia Li. I mean, there's two people whose entrances I really want to see, his and Xia Li.
Yeah,
because they're going to be so like, just over the top, like wow, that it's just going to be awesome.
Yeah, that could be dope.
That could, and if that's not going to happen at TakeOver, then the powers that be over at WWE need to be shot and given the company to someone else.
Well, I don't know. Maybe you do two different types of sets. They also have a ton of space over there. Well, then again, we don't know what their space is going to look like. Because I was about to say they have those rooms in the back area we've seen, but
social distancing. And if they're only letting 2,500 people in, is that what you said?
It might be 25,000. I don't know. I have to look.
20. Oh, that's different. Okay, well, but either way, still, it's they're doing it in the same place, and it's going to be a bigger scale, so it's a big difference to a lot of these guys. So and girls.
Splinter Fox is saying that Rey Mysterio used to take on bigger wrestlers all the time. I've heard that argument before, but honestly, take a look at Rey Mysterio physically and take a look at Adam Cole, and tell me you don't see a difference. He does say Ali versus Adam Cole, but I'll raise you and say, hey, Adam Cole should just join Retribution. Be perfect. Put a mask on him, give him a dumb name, dye his hair orange. That's what I'm here for. He would still be the smallest one of Retribution. Well, I mean, Dijakovic and Mace are huge.
Again, Hornswoggle and Collie, think about that.
Yeah. So, Just in Time says, Cross either wins the title or he gets called up after Mania. That's how I feel like, too, but I mean, I don't know.
Here's a question. Speaking of people who should go. So, when Taya Valkyrie, do you think she's going to be on the main roster, or is she going to be in NXT for some unknown, stupid reason? How is that going to go? Because she's another one. Yeah, she's the female equivalent to Cross.
She should 100% be on the main roster. Yeah. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they did some training with stuff in her off TV. You know what I mean? To like, hey, this is how we do things here on TV. But
they announced her at NXT. But
they did announce her signing to be NXT though, so that's true.
Yeah, because I can't wait to see Taya. I've been wanting to see Taya and Natty really badly.
I don't.
I'm trying not to get excited because of what we see of Morrison.
Well, I don't think she's going to be teamed with Morrison, but maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. And maybe that could be the makeover Morrison needs, too, to be paired with someone like that.
I would like that.
Spin Fox asking if they're going to have fans in NXT nights. My impression is yes, but I don't have like a definitive answer on that one. I think they are. And he says, who says NXT won't be taped a week earlier? Yeah, I don't know about their taping schedules and stuff. I don't know if they tape now. Well, they have fans now, so they have to go live. Because they have some fans.
AEW isn't.
That's true.
Yeah, they do every other week.
Yeah, that's true.
But you can only see one. The other one they do on Thursday.
Yeah. Let's see. AJ, everybody's going to NXT. Oh, it goes, AJ Evans going to NXT. That's what I don't know. I don't know if that has to be the same way for the women. Ty has been around for so long on such a high level. I think that would be the interesting bit, right? If she doesn't go directly to the main roster, then it becomes really definitive, like, oh yeah, you got to go through NXT. But didn't the Good Brothers come over directly to the main roster because of AJ?
But remember, Gallows was there before.
Well, yeah, Gallows was there once before too. So I guess there's a lot there. I don't know. I don't understand contracts. Let's see. Actually, Splinter Fox would prefer John Morrison actually going to NXT. I think I actually would like that more.
Yeah.
No, I could see that. I mean, get him away from Miz. I'm all for it.
Yeah, break up Miz and Morrison and get Morrison doing something else, anything else.
If it's him being a rock star in NXT,
yeah, I'm okay with that.
into it.
It won't bother me one bit.
Imagine him and Eli Drake.
I know they don't do intergender,
I'm sorry.
but I would love. if it was Taya and Morrison versus, Scarlett and Cross, if they'd ever let Scarlett wrestle because she can go.
That's the thing I think is weird about her. She hasn't. I heard someone else saying they should just put the women's title on Scarlett. And I was like, she literally hasn't wrestled in NXT yet. And they said, I don't care. She's got such star power. And I'm like, that she hasn't wrestled yet. Like, you can't just win the title by not wrestling.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a problem. But like I said before,
a match to happen.
Like I've said before, I've seen her do a Hurricane Rana in 6-inch high heels. And she was wearing some little tiny outfit. So
I can do Hurricane Rana in heels.
No, I don't believe you.
Oh, man. Well,
I don't believe
you think I can't learn it?
Yes, I don't think you can learn it.
I'll call Prophet right now.
Mm.
Just in time, did we mention LA Knight wrestling next week? And we did not. We'll talk about that and leave it on that. LA Knight is going to be coming into wrestle next week. His in-ring debut, LA Knight.
Yeah.
Let me talk to you.
Yep. Yeah.
He was throwing it in. He's so slick with throwing in his stuff. That's not a threat. That's just a fact of life. The way, like, she asked him a question. He goes, well, let me talk to you. And then says some stuff. Yeah.
Oh, I'm a nerd. Good. I did that at home. I'm a nerd.
Yeah. Shoes of a champion. Yeah. Yeah, so he's going to wrestle next week. I'm excited to see who it is. I'm so torn on the idea that he's in this program with Bronson Reed right now. Because Bronson Reed comes over, throws him around, chokes on him some. The refs are pulling him apart. They both look like badasses here. I think it's going to be an amazing match, but I feel like it's really soon for either guy to take a loss. I want them both winning matches nonstop for like a year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That'll be TakeOver. That'll be a good one.
I think it would be great. It's going to be a great match, but I'm going to be so torn on who do I want to lose this one because, yes, Bronson Reed could probably eat a loss. But I don't want Bronson Reed to be eating losses right now. I want him looking like a fucking...
Yeah, same here. Yeah. So I wonder who he's LA Knight's wrestling next week.
Do you think it's going to be... Leon Ruff gets the win?
No, because Leon Ruff's wrestling Swerve.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
What's that guy? Huh?
Rust?
Yeah, Rust. Mm-hmm.
I could see
Probably
that.
Rust.
He could have a good match with Rust. That guy that Malcolm Bivens been carrying around.
Oh,
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I could see that.
Or I don't know why.
Dexter Lumis and Austin Theory too.
Yeah, that's right. I was always going to say, oh, you could go against Austin Theory, but there's that match.
Huh.
But
yeah, it's gonna have to.
I don't know.
Or some guy, some random schmo. Who's that guy they had for a while who was like coming out in collegiate, like Michigan State stuff? Remember him for a minute? He was the other jobber at the same time Leon Ruff was jobbing for a bunch of guys.
I don't think
Leon Ruff blew up.
I don't think I was watching.
Well, I don't know. I'm super excited about it though.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Swinfox says, "Poor Swerve, they're wasting him on that gimmick." I don't know. I don't disagree, but it does seem a little weird that Swerve's in this story with Leon Ruff for a while.
Yeah, but Swerve's being booked horribly anyway. He should be one on the main roster. He's great.
Yeah.
Seriously.
That's true. He's pretty good. I mean, I'm happy the guy's getting TV time, and I don't think he looks bad. But it's also like, I don't know where the fuck this is going.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see how it pans out. It could pan out to be a huge fart. It could be like shitty little sparklers instead of an explosion. But it also could end up being really good. We just don't know. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it plays out. Let's see. Just it was Denzel DeJournette.
Oh.
Yep. Yeah. So it could be something like that.
Guards, I believe, for Apollo Crews.
Oh, he's one of the Apollo Crews guards. That's
according to Wrestling Inc. They did some digging.
Oh.
Denzel DeJournette, and Matrick built. Oh no, that was his other name.
Yeah.
Yeah, Desmond Troy and
Desmond's one of the guards.
Oh. kind of like that gimmick.
Yeah. Spinner Fox
Yeah.
asking where's Kushida. Did Kushida get injured, or we don't know what's going on with him?
Mm-mm.
I don't
Not
think
that
he's
I know.
injured.
No, it's like, what are you going to do with Kushida right
That's
now?
what I was about to say. I think you have to be so careful with Kushida because you don't want to waste him.
Yeah, and you don't want to put him in some like, some weird program that's, yeah, you don't want to do that.
Sometimes
think
I'd
you'll
rather
see-
the talent be
I don't
on
know.
the shelf waiting for the right program. Like his Gargano program was great.
Mhm.
But since he lost the thing ultimately, what do you do next? Well, let's
Mhm.
figure that out before just putting him out there. You know what I mean? So, I don't know.
Exactly.
Later, Grim Reaper.
I hear you. Let's see. So, Grim Reaper's on his way out. Cheers, Grim Reaper. We'll see ya. I think we're going to be having last call right now anyways. Amanda, was there anything you thought we missed?
No, but next week will be interesting. And I'll let you know if there's anything worthy to change over and watch.
Yeah, let me know if I got to flip the channel because I don't intend to.
So far, I don't know. Doesn't look like it so far.
Yeah, right now there's nothing on the card that makes me think much. So we'll just
Because
see
we're
how it
doing
plays
Miro
out.
again. Well, yeah, I don't.
Oh.
Let that die. Please.
Just in time. Kushida says, Kushida really should have beat Johnny. And I agree 100%. And I think even everything Johnny's doing now doesn't need the North American title. And he's also not doing much with the North American title. I don't see a reason at all Kushida shouldn't be North American champion right now. Not at all. Spinner Fox says he's out. Talk to you haters later. Peace. I'll see you. Ding dong. Hello. Spinner Fox, always a pleasure having you come around for a drink and a bit of a yelling match. It's why we love you. Amanda, yeah, we'll see what happens next week. We'll see what's going on over the weekend. The pay-per-view's not this weekend. Huh?
Oh, no, but Monday, I know you don't watch internet wrestling, but that's the debut of Big Show at the other YouTube one they're doing. Yeah, that's this Monday. So already they've announced like Jungle Boy versus Danny Limelight.
Huh.
I think.
That's weird.
I know it's Danny Limelight. Was it Jungle Boy? Or am I like making that up in my head? But if I'm right, that's going to be a pretty decent match because I think both of them. I want to say I've seen them on the Indies. Both of them wrestle each other. I could be wrong, but that's going to be a really good match. Just because anytime you can see Jungle Boy in singles action,
yeah,
it's a good thing. So, yeah, there's that to watch. So
well,
I know you don't watch.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, if you tell me there's something on there that's like can't miss, I can always go back and watch it because it is internet.
That's the great thing.
Yeah, let me know what you think of that, how that goes, how everyone does. I want to know how Big Show's doing. If you intend to watch it, otherwise, if you don't intend to watch it, I'm not telling you have to.
No, I'm just going to because I'm curious to see Big Show on commentary because he says that this is his love. He loves
his passion.
doing commentary.
Yeah,
it's his passion, and I'm like,
he's never done it.
I was like, I don't remember him ever doing commentary unless I'm, whatever. Like when I watched it, so, that'll be interesting. And then they say it's only an hour.
Okay.
But then again, look at Dark.
Out.
They used to say that too.
Yep.
And Dark sometimes it's like 5 hours long. It feels like.
Yeah.
But they've been getting better with that.
There was some news of Canadian Football League.
In the XFL. We'll talk about that later.
Oh, okay.
We'll get more information on that. Yeah, the CFL and the XFL are talking about working together. There's a few tweets on that. If you follow The Rock, you can find out more about that. Guys, we'll be back on Tuesday to have a drink and to hang. We'll be back after that on Thursday yet again with Miss Amanda Jane. Amanda, tell people where they can find you.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Ms. Amanda Jane.
Perfect. You can find us and all of our links at WrestlingOnTheRocks.com. We are on Twitter at WOTR The Show. Guys, thank you for coming through. Thank you for having a drink. We'll see you next time. That's last call. Cheers.
Hey, producer lady here. Thanks for tuning in. Continue to support us or buy us a drink by following and putting the I in subscribe on Twitch. Or subscribe and review our podcast on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to us. Cheers!
I would never have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.